Welcome to Dad's on a Map, and we're back. We're streaming. We're not streaming. We're recording. We're doing a live play, a teach and play of a kind of a cult favorite. It's a word you're going to hear a lot in this play. A cult favorite called Kaivai. Kaivai is a kind of Euro game with some, to me, splottery tendencies. A lot of turn order jockeying and things like that, and action selection that has an interesting wrinkle to it. But we have been enjoying this game on a new gaming website called Boardtogether.games. Boardtogether.games is the creation of someone in our Dads on a Map community. I'm not claiming him necessarily, but he hangs out in our community. His name is Justin, and Justin has put together this website that features now Kaivai, also features Fresh Fish, and Bridges of Shangri-La, which, if you've ever listened to Dads on a Map or watched Dads on a Map streams, these are games we like and talk about a lot, and it's really exciting to have a new async place we can play them. You can also play live like we're going to do tonight. So, that quick introduction out of the way, let me tell you who's here to play Kaivai tonight. Myself, James. We have Dan joining us.
Hey.
Chris.
Hello, hello.
And you know Derek from the Tricky Streams.
We're back, baby.
And not only is Derek here, he's going to teach this. I don't want to call it a beast. It's not a hard game. It's a very large game. Derek, show him your box. It's a big boy. That's a big old coffin.
Doesn't even fit in a calyx.
The first edition. Does not fit in a calyx. It is massive. No fold in the board. Is that right?
One fold, single fold.
One fold.
They didn't know you could fold the board more than once back in the day.
No, they did not, apparently. So I'm going to turn it over to Derek and let him kind of walk through this game and do his thing with the teach, and we're going to play it. And hopefully this is helpful because this is, to our knowledge, the only Kaivai teach and play on the internet. And if you want to check it out on Boardtogether.games, a lot of people want to be able to see it first. And so that's why we're here today. Take it away, Derek.
All right. So Kaivai, yes, a 3 to 4 player only game that was designed by Helge Ostertag, of course, of Terra Mystica, Gaia Project, Age of Innovation, all that good stuff. And then also with his relative, I don't technically know if it's his brother or cousin or what.
I want to say brother.
I want to say brother, but I don't know. I couldn't find that fact out for sure anywhere. Yeah. Anselm Ostertag, Anselm, of this and Desperados, if you played that. I don't know. It's a card game from 2005. But also the art is done by Anselm, so it's kind of cool little fact there. And this was originally published by Pacificus Feel. You can Google that if you want to. Back in the original first edition, the one that is this guy, was a 2005 publication. And then a second edition came in 2010 in a much easier to handle box. Both only published in German, so no actual English translation or official English publication of Kaivai. So when you're looking out there, you have to look for just the German and then go and check out the rules translations because none officially ever came out. But we're going to be playing by the first edition rules tonight. They are what most assume to be the better version of the rules. We'll go ahead and talk about some of those changes as we go along. And we're also playing with the game rules as written. There's a very kind of talked about variant on the forums of removing some of the luck in the game. Kaivai is not necessarily the luck fest that a lot of games are, but just have a little bit of luck. But we all agree that luck is best. So let's go ahead. I wanted to do a quick overview of just kind of what you're looking at, and then also kind of like the story behind it, because I think it's very interesting. So the overview they give in the manual is more than 1,000 years ago, the Polynesians began to colonize the Pacific Ocean. Kaivai, which means water eater, was the name they gave to the navigators who guided them across the huge tracts of open sea. The navigator's secret wisdom is based on the observing natural phenomena from the stars, the shape of the crest of the wave. It was accumulated over centuries and passed down orally. Learning the skill of reading the ocean was reserved for only the most worthy kin. In the scattered world of the Polynesian islands, we're looking at here, The players take part in exploration to discover new homelands for their people. Fish must be caught to exchange for shell, money, or glory. Shell money is used to pay for building of the huts on the island villages to gain more glory in the game. Shell money decreases in value each round, so wealth is short-lived, and money should be invested as quickly as possible. Only the player who skillfully navigates through the dynamically growing islands, who's clever in managing fluctuating resources, and who knows how to use the favor of the fisherman's god, will gain enough glory to be initiated into the secret wisdom of the Kaivai. So, Kaivai is played over a series of 10 rounds. And the second edition changed this to 8 rounds, but we were playing, like I said, the first edition as 10, which follow basically 4 phases in each round. At the end of the game, there are some final scoring things that kind of can add to the points, and the winner has the most VPs, which are called glory, at the end of the game. The main way of scoring glory is during the game, you'll score glory points for celebrating by eating fish at your huts during your celebrations. There are also a couple other ways to lose and gain glory, but that's kind of the main idea you're trying to do is to celebrate, eat fish, and that will score you lots of glory. At the end of the game, you'll also score 2 points per hut. We'll see what huts come out in a second. And then also for each island, we'll do some scoring as well. So, to begin, each player we have kind of set up here. I'll show this. So here's the main board, which has ocean hexes along with the what are called cult hexes that represent the 8 different islands currently in the Polynesian. We also have our kind of information over here. So what this is showing is basically our move ability, our build base, our influence, which are kind of like our action points, and then glory as in points. It also shows kind of a bonus movement here, and I'll talk about that more in a second. And then it has the tracks for our shells and our fish. So real quickly, I just want to show this is a player board that you get in the actual game of Kaivai, which kind of shows a little bit of all the information together. You have the bidding track up here, you have your bonus movement here, and then the tracks for your shells and your fish down here. Now the way the shells and fish track works, you can kind of see shown over here on the left. Your shells, at the end of your round, they move down, but wherever they're at is how much they're valued at. So I have a shell on here in the 5 space, so it's worth 5. Since I have 3 shells on 5, my value is 15. Now fish, on the other hand, just are one fish no matter where they're at on this track. So this track is really just tracking the degradation of fish. At each level, fish don't necessarily act any differently, but if they fall off the track, then you lose those fish. So basically they spoil, go bad, can't have them anymore. This bonus movement track up here is just showing you basically how much extra movement you get for your instead of your base movement. And then the big thing we're talking about now is the bidding portion up here on the top. So during the game on here, we'll just do the bidding, and then it kind of goes away and kind of moves over to this section over here. Like I said, usually it's on your player board at the top, and each person will bid that way. But the first part of the game in every round is a bidding phase for turn order. That bidding in the first round is just determined randomly, so kind of have this set up here. In the next rounds, it always goes from the lowest glory to the highest glory, with ties broken by usually your resources. We don't need to go into too much detail. It's a lot of different tiebreakers, but least glory picks first, most glory picks last. Little tiebreakers in there. What this bidding track is showing you is 2 different things. One, it's showing you the number you're bidding. So if I bid, say, 6, then I don't pay anything for any of these bids. They're not payments I need to make. It's just the number I'm choosing. That bidding also relates to your building cost, which is during the game we'll be building huts. The base cost of those will be this many shells. So if I go to 6, I'm paying a lot more instead of 1. But when I go to 6, whoever has the highest bid gets to take their first turn first. So that's kind of where you're going to have a little offset there. And the last thing is the boat distance. So this is how much movement at a base level your boats have during the round. So to start off the game, we go ahead and bid for turn order, but the one thing about this is you can never bid the same as anybody else during each round. So for like this first round, if I say I bid 5, that means it goes to James. James can bid whatever he wants except for 5. 5 is a locked out bid. So that way nobody ever bids the same. You don't have to do any weird turn order things or anything. It's just whoever has the highest, just straight up, gets that. So that's kind of the first phase of James. If we want to go ahead and go through this bidding real quick.
Sure, I'll bid 1.
Bid 1. So James bids 1. He goes low. Dan, you want to give your bid?
4.
Do 4. And then Chris.
I wanted to do 4. Like 3.
3. Okay. So to start the game, since obviously you can see we have nothing out here, we need to first seed the board with some early buildings. So this goes in turn order still. And what we get to do is to each build 2 different huts. And so now we're talking about the different huts. The names for the huts here go off the 2nd edition rules. In the 1st edition, they have different names, but they're a little confusing. So what you have is a meeting hut, a boat hut, which gets you boats, and a fishing hut, which allows you to fish. Like I said, when you build a boat hut, you just basically have to build it next to any cult hex here. And then placing it out gives you a boat. To start the game, like I said, you get 2 huts, but one of them has to be a boat hut. Because if you do not have boats, you can't do anything in this game. So this game makes sure you don't just do anything for the whole game by making you build 1 boat hut. But your second one can be any hut of whatever you want as well. So I could build a fishing hut, a meeting hut, whatever. Or you can build the same thing as well. And even when you build it, you can build it at the same island. You can build it any other island. Does not matter. So for the sake of the teaching, I'm going to go ahead and build a fishing hut. And I'm going to build it over here at the same island I'm on. So then now Dan will get to build since he bid in a 2nd in turn order. He'll go ahead and build his first ones.
I'll do my mandatory boat down here. And then I'll ponder as to whether I want to build another boat or a fishing hut. Let's just be different. I'll build another boat hut.
Okay. And then Chris.
Do these opening builds, are they required to touch occult hex?
Yes. So anything that's ever built is required. Well, I guess after this one has to touch cult hex. Every other build after that just has to be next to, of course, another building. But these first ones must touch a cult hex. Yes, good question.
I'll be double boat also.
Boats are good, and we'll find out why here in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, typically a good opening is building 2 boat huts, but not necessarily the only opening. And also, building a fisherman's hut allows me to do a little bit more on the teaching side.
We're trying to win. You're trying to teach.
Hey, I mean, James, if you want to help teach, you could build yourself a meeting hut right now.
I'm gonna build a meeting hut.
Thanks, James. Okay, so we've all done our original bids. So that's only happens in the very first round. After that, we ignore that, and then we just go into the usual steps, which are said our bidding, and then after a bidding phase, whoever bid the lowest gets to do what's called put out the Fisherman's God. The Fisherman's God does a couple things. One, whatever place it's at, whoever built it is going to get 1 influence. Like I said, influence are your action points. So we all start with 3, but like for James, he's probably going to build it on that bottom one where he has a meeting hut.
You only get an influence if you have a meeting hut.
Yes, only if you have a meeting hut. For each meeting hut you have there, you get 1 influence. So if you had 3 meeting huts on 1 island and you built on it, boom, 3 more influence right off the bat. The other important thing to that is that in order to grow an island, so in order to put the fisherman's god on an island, you also must grow it. So whenever James puts the fisherman's god on that bottom island, he will grow it by 1 cult hex. And that cult hex must be adjacent to just some
Anything.
adjacent,
Yep.
yeah, to anything. So he would place the fisherman's god on this island, put out a new cult hex anywhere touching any of the pieces on that island, and then get his influence, or anybody else would get the influence. So James, want to go ahead and do that?
Yes, I do. But I'm thinking about where I want to put it.
Yeah. The other important thing to say as far as this part of the round, like I said, it's always the last, whoever's last to bid. So usually somebody will bid that 1-1 just to be able to do this action. The other cool thing about it is that it always must move as well. So if, like, say James puts it on this island down here, the next time around, even if he was last, he could not go back to that same island and do the same thing. So it kind of prevents you from just bidding last, hitting your same island over and over and over again. It creates more room out there. And so this is also in the game. You can't really see this here, but in the game itself, you'll have the stack of 10 of these, and that's kind of your timer, because each round, 1 must grow. And importantly enough, if an island, say, was surrounded and could not grow, then, because no islands can ever touch. That's an important thing as well. Is like, say, an island was in the middle and it was close to everything else and could not actually place a cult hex where it wouldn't touch another hex of some other island. You couldn't ever choose that island. It must have the ability to grow by 1 cult hex. Okay, so that is phase 2. Like I said, phase 1, bidding. Phase 2, putting that out. And then phase 3, the meat and potatoes of the game, actions. And so there are these 6 little action circles up here, same in the actual game, that give you the 6 different possible actions you're allowed to take. You also have what's called a sacrifice/pass. So after I take 1 action, this will just be a pass. So if I say I'm done for the round, I can just choose to pass. Then I'm out for the rest of the round until everybody else passes. But if you don't do any actions in a round and all you do is just pass at the very beginning of your turn, you will get 2 influence. So that's a way, especially if you're running low on influence, don't have any ways to take actions, you can just say, I'm giving up this round. Everybody keep going. You get 2 influence discs. Which shows you this game, it's kind of hard to get influence because the only natural way to get influence is by having the Fisherman's God on places where you have meeting huts. So other than that, sacrificing is the only thing. So kind of there's no income insofar as getting more actions. So the way these action discs works is basically the first time somebody takes the action, let's say I take the move action, in the game you would put 1 influence discs on there from the supply. So let's go ahead and say I did the move action, I go here, then boom, there's 1 influence disc on there. I didn't spend any because the first influence disc on action always comes from the supply, because you always have to match whatever was on there originally. So there was nothing on there, so I didn't have to put anything, but I put the 1 from the supply on there. Now, if Dan wanted to take that same action, he would have to spend as many as there are on that action to take the action. So he'd have to spend 1 of his influence discs to take a move action. And he would actually put that on the move action itself.
Should I illustrate that?
Nah, that's fine.
Okay.
Do that. So after he did that, he would put 1 on there, he would move, and then that would show a 2. So now if anybody wants to take the move action, he would have to spend 2 influence discs to take that 1 same action that I spent none for. So obviously that's what the big advantage of going first is, you get to have first dibs on a lot of the actions. So going back to the actions, like I said, the first action we'll talk about is just the move action because it's kind of basic. During a move action, you get to move all of your ships up to your movement that you bid. So let's say in this case, I had bid the 5 spot, so I have 5 movement. And then any bonus movement you have, you would also get that as well. So we all start at 0. But each of my ships can move 5. And so I can see here, when I first movement, it's going to be off my building hut, and I can go anywhere where it's highlighted here. So I can just jump down here, and that would be it. Like I said, if I had 2 ships, I could move both of those ships up to 5 spaces. It's not like combine, it's each of them as many spaces as you can. When moving, you can't move through any huts or cult hexes, but you can move through other players. There's one other special rule about moving. I'll talk about that at the end because it's a little weird rule. But that's all moving does. Now, building lets you do 2 things. First, it lets you move. So a good thing about a few of these actions is they still allow you to move up to your movement value. However, you can only move your ships if you're using them to take an action. So if I take the build action and I want to move this ship, I have to build with it at the end of that move. So let's say I take this ship and I move it down here. Then, since I'm taking the build action, it has to build. And basically, in order to build, I have to be next to a cult hex, which are these, of course. And then I build adjacent to that island and to my boat. So if I say I wanted to build a meeting hut, I could do that. I could grab that meeting hut and I could build it here or here. If I built, let's go ahead and build again. If I built, say, a boat hut, I could do that, grab a boat hut, build it right here. And now I have another boat, which I can do actions with on my next turn. Because like I said, if I had another boat on this current turn, I could have built twice by moving them both and then building with both. And you don't have to move them also. Like, it's not guaranteed. Obviously, the first move has to be off of this hex that it's on. But after that, you can just keep them in the same spot and just build wherever they're at. So I can just move up here, build there, whatever I want to do. The rules for building, like I said, are, of course, same rules apply as far as building out cult hexes. You can't ever combine islands. So there will always be 8 distinct islands in the game. And the other rule is the payments. So like I said, whenever we do the bidding, your payments are where you bid at. So I bid at the 5 spot. So my building initially costs 5. So right now it would cost me 5 shells to build, plus you have a additional cost based on the number of hexes that island is made of. So if I'm building next to this red island where I'm already at, it would cost me 5 for the build plus 3. So we can show that. I build this boat hex, I put it there, then I just paid 8 of my 15, I'm down to 7. And then you always just spin like your highest down low, but it doesn't really matter because you'll see why I say. But you really want to get rid of your shells and have the least amount of shells on your board. So you always spin like your highest down to your lowest, and then you go to your next one. So always spin out one from 5 to 0, and then start spinning another one. But if I had done a build and built, say, over here where there's only 1 hex, I could build, say, this fishing hut, put it right there, and then now that only cost me 6 because it was 5 plus 1, so 6. So that was legal. Any questions on the build? Should be pretty self-explanatory. Increased movement. That's how you get more movement on this little bonus track. So as you can see, if I take the increased movement action, I go from 0 to plus 1. So now my move is updated here to show that I can move 6 with each ship. As I go up on that movement bonus, it basically adds, of course, to my base bid. So even if, say, you later on in the game you bid 1, if this was up to 3, you'd still be able to move all your ships 4 spaces. So it can be nice to allow you to bid lower, but still have a lot of flexibility with your movements. We have the fish action. So whenever you take the fish action, that's how you're going to fish in the game. So in order to fish, you must be at a cult hex, adjacent to a cult hex that either has your fisherman's hut at it or the fisherman's god. So in this case, my god can't reach down here to where James with the fisherman god, but he can go right here. So if I come off here, I go here, I fish, and you can see there's a die results. So in the game of Kaivai, there are different size and chance dice that you use to fish. For just fishing with one person, so I get 1 die because there's 1 shrine there. One where the fishing shrines. That one die has a 5 in 6 chance of being successful, showing a blue, and a 1 in 6 chance of failing, showing a white. If either I had another shrine built here, or if I had the Fisherman's God was here with along with my shrine, I basically always count up however many shrines / fisherman gods are there, and I roll that many dice. So if I had, say, 2 of my huts here, it's only yours as well. So if I had 2 of mine plus the Fisherman's God, I would roll 3 dice instead of 1 for just that one ship. And if both my ships were next to here, so if I had another ship in this bottom location, I could fish with both of them and roll 3 dice each time. So you can get quite a bunch of fish. However, this is why the luck comes into the game. So obviously you see with 1 die, you have a 1 in 6 chance of failing. But for each time you fish, if you do multiple dice with one action, so like in the example, I had 3 dice for one ship, the first die has a 1 in 6 chance of failing. The second dice has a 2 in 6 chance of failing, and the third dice has a 3 in 6 chance of failing. All the way down to 4 in 6 chance of failing. And then if, say, you were able to build out and have possibly more actions, they would all have a 4 in 6 chance of failing. So can get to where a lot of times you're rolling blanks, which is how fishing works. You know, sometimes they're biting, sometimes they're not. So that is the main crux of the game, is able to get more fish, and then when you get a fish, the fish comes into your 5 spot. That's another change from second edition. If you want to talk about second edition, they come into your 4 spot. Don't think that matters really in the end all be all things, but it's a change they made. Okay.
I had one more question.
Yes.
In the rules that I'm looking at, that I got from BGG, it says that if the Fisherman's God is at the island where you're fishing, its first die roll basically is always a success.
That
Like
is the second
automatic
edition rules
catch.
as well. Yes, so that is the second
Also
edition
second
change.
edition?
Yes. So in the second
Okay.
edition, they made it to where the Fisherman's God was a guaranteed fish, no die roll required. Where you're still playing first edition rules, it means you always got to roll for your fish. Ain't no guaranteed
Excellent.
fish in this ocean. Good
Got it.
question though. So that was the other change. I was like, there's one more change I'm gonna forget. That was it. And so that is the fishing action. The
I
last,
guess you're committed to that now, aren't you?
I guess I'll say I'm committed to that. So I took the
Can
fishing.
you keep going. I'm going to ask Justin if he can pull that.
No,
off.
it's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying committed to that because then I can show the other actions.
All
Because
right.
I can't show deliver or celebrate without having moved my guy off there.
Yeah, you're
So,
right.
so we'll say that
Right.
those are kind of the basic actions you're going to take. Like I said, you're going to take a move, build, either that. Deliver and celebrate are a little bit more in there, and so we'll talk about those whenever it comes back around to me. Unless somebody else takes one of the actions, we can talk about that.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to deliver, let me know.
Don't think I'm going to deliver just yet. Let me try that build action you talk so much about. I don't want to be too claustrophobic.
I did not realize
Let's go
he
here.
didn't have an undo for fishing, which is probably a smart
Right.
thing. You can undo everything, but you can't undo the die rolls. Good job, Justin.
Yeah, so important note, I had to move next to the spot where I wanted to place my hut, not on top, because I wanted to place this meeting hut here.
All right, so Dan moved off of his fishing hut to there, built that meeting hut. His base build was 4, and so it cost 4 plus the 2 that are already there, so 6. So he's still at 9. And now he still has the option to build another hut with his other boat, as I suggested before, which I'm assuming he's going to there. So he moves up here, pays another 6 to build a, oh God, what do they call them in this one? Fishing hut.
Fishing hut, yep.
Fishing hut with another cost of 6. So that leaves him with just 3 value, 1 shell on the 3 space.
It's actually a very hard game to read the rulebook for and not get confused by the terminology, just because they're all kind of they just kind of meld together.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. It does meld together, especially because like Justin mentioned this, and I really didn't realize it. But in the first edition, the boat huts are called fishermen's huts because that's where the fishermen come from, are with the boats. And so, if you read it, you're like the fisherman's hut is where you get boats, and then I think the the fishing huts are called just the god shrines since they
Right.
go along with the fishermen gods. Um, because you must have the god's blessing in order to fish, to be successful at fishing. And I'm necessarily always successful at fishing.
So since all of my boats have moved and built,
That is end of your turn. And like I said,
end of my turn.
he took the build action, so one influence got put onto the build action space, but it wasn't from his pool. It was from the general supply.
Yep. So that's where I'm thinking, because I don't really want to spend 2 influence to build
One influence.
and a
Remember, it's
ton of
only the
money.
number that's on there. So you would spend one influence because
Oh
there's
yeah,
one
that's right.
influence that's on
One
there.
influence to build.
Mhm.
That's right. It's not going higher. You have to match what's already there.
Match what's there.
So in that case, maybe I will build.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move here.
And you have to think if you don't do it now, then it might cost you 2
It's
if
gonna
you
be
want to do
even.
it next time,
Hmm.
which
Sweet.
is what I'm going to be facing.
Yeah. So we had a build action from Chris. So he moved from this location here down to this island and built a meeting hut here, which cost him 3 plus 3, so 6 as well. Like I said, whenever you build or do most actions in the game, you must be next to a cult hex. But you can build anywhere that's adjacent as long as it's touching the island. And then he went over here, built a fisherman's hut over in this section,
Down south.
which was just 5, so that's why he has 4 left over. And then he had 1 less influence compared to us now because he spent that influence. Then it goes over to James' turn, who has 4 influence thanks to the fisherman's god. At the beginning of the
I'm
game.
going to build as much as it hurts to build 2 influence.
Hey, you got the extra influence. You can afford it,
Right.
and you can build
So
for
this
1.
is and I could, that's the reason I really want to make sure I build. I bid 1, I have 1 build baseline, right?
Yep.
It's never going to get cheaper right now. And interesting, this is a little wrinkle. If I build a meeting hut where the fisherman god is, I actually get a retroactive influence. I get
Yes.
it back.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
That's in the rules. If you build a meeting hut where it's at, it's basically like, oh, you guys still get to meet because he's there, so you get that influence, which is always a good thing to
But-
play off of. But of course, he's probably going to build another boat hut, I'm assuming.
Now, one thing that I don't know if you said it before, but this is not a round where we're just going to take our turns and be done with it. It's going to go back to the top of the order and keep going until we all pass.
Right, yes. So that's why the pass action now, of course, you can see now for me, it just says pass instead of sacrifice instead of taking an action. But as soon as I'm ready to pass, I'll click that. I'll be done. It's a hard pass. You're out for the round. And then you just wait until everybody passes. And then you start back at the top.
Kind of interesting your forced fishing there that happened. Like, are you glad you fished one time? I mean, no, but now you just made fishing worse for all of us.
Yeah. And I made fishing worse for all of you who maybe could fish more, but you wouldn't pay the influence for it. Which is a
Right.
big thing too. Sometimes you take action not because it's the best for you, but because it makes it more expensive for somebody else.
Yep.
Okay, so now it's back up to me. James built another boat hut down here at the bottom, paying just the 1 plus 4, so 5. So staying at value 10 there. And that was all he could do because he just had the 1 boat to start. So now I said back over to me. I can take course the action talked about, or I can take a new action, which is deliver. So when I click deliver, I can move my boat again. My boats, as long as they're taking the action I'm doing, I can move them wherever. So let's say I move them over here. I move them down here between this yellow meeting hut and this green fishing hut. It'd be a fishing hut because it doesn't or boat hut. Get the terminology correct. Whenever I do that, I can now deliver any of the fish I have on my board to either of the adjacent huts that I'm next to, as long as they're not fishing huts. That's why they put the little meeple on them. You cannot deliver fish there. but I can deliver to either of these. And as you see, I'm delivering to other players' huts. So that's a big part of the game. Is in Kaivai, you can always deliver to yourself or to others. Whenever I deliver to somebody else, let's say I go here, I deliver 1 to Chris's, and then I say go here, I'll deliver 1 to Dan. So I click here, deliver fish. And what that does is it will give me shells because I sold those fish to those other players. And so each hut can hold up to 3 fish. The first fish you sell to a hut gives you 5 shells. The second fish you sell to a hut gives you 4, and if a hut would have its third, it would only give you 3. So you can see right now I have a value of 25, but let's go back real quick. If I do that same thing and deliver, and I say deliver 3 to Chris's and just 1 to Dan's, then I have 32 because I got the 2 more 5s for those first deliveries. But then for my second delivery to Chris, I only got 4. And then for my last delivery to Chris, I only got 3. And you wouldn't necessarily like bump up your 4 and then put another one on 2. For each one you sell, you put that shell on its value. So I delivered for 5, then I delivered 1 for 4. I take a 4 shell. I deliver 1 for 3. I take a 3 shell. So it's not like you have to like combine and merge up to the highest. You have to just take it where it's at. If I say do a deliver action, but then just want to deliver to myself, I can do that. I could say deliver all 3, deliver fish. But you see, my value does not go up because I can't sell the fish to myself. Which you think, well, that doesn't seem good. Why would I do that if I'm not making any money? That's where the last action in the game comes in, celebrate. I can't do that action right now because there's no fish delivered, but let's just talk about it real quick. So if I choose
Why don't you go deliver to Dan and he can take it and then you can walk both of those back?
So I'll go over
You know
here.
what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will go over here. I will deliver to, let's go ahead and do like 2 and 2 just to show kind of a weird example. So I deliver 2 and 2. I got my value, and then it goes to Dan. Now Dan's going to go ahead and hit the celebrate action. When you celebrate, you choose one island that has at least one of you. I think it has to be with one of yours, right? Is that
I
correct?
think it's any fish. I think it's any fish.
Any fish. Oh no, it's any fish. Yeah, it is.
Believe-
So one island with any fish at least on one of the huts. So it could be 1, it could be a bunch, whatever. So if you click celebrate and click this island here, now that it has fish, go ahead and do that.
So I choose this.
Yep. And so what that's going to do is going to score glory. So that's where the glory comes into the game. Since each of them had 2 fish on their huts, they score 1 point for each of those fish during a celebration. The other bonus you get is if you're the person causing the celebration, whether you had any fish that got scored or not, you get 1 point per 3 fish. It has to be exactly 3 fish. There's no rounding up, rounding down. So since there were 4 fish there, Dan got an extra 1 glory because he was the one that caused the celebration. If I had caused the celebration, it would have been Chris with 2, Dan with 2, and then myself with 1, even though I didn't have any fish, just because I was the one celebrating. So that's why, as you get more and more fish, say there's 6 fish on an island, whoever causes it, they may not be the one getting a bunch of points, but they may take it just so they get 2 points for doing nothing, basically. Mm-hmm. That's why if you deliver to yourself, you're not getting any shells, but you are getting to be able to celebrate. Because if I say delivered those 3 to my island and then celebrated, that'd be 4 points for myself, with no points going to anybody else. So that's where a big crux of Kaivai comes in, is balancing how much you give fish away for shells in order to get your engine going, and how much you actually go back to yourself in order to score points. So Dan, you want to walk back that then?
Yep, I'm gonna undo that.
And I'll undo
and
that.
then-
And so with celebrate, there's no boat movement or anything. It's just straight up, you pick the island, you score it, you move on. Pretty simple with that. And that is the basic idea of Kaivai, is going through, taking these actions. and then trying to, like I said, score glory along the way. Last thing to talk about as far as the action goes is going back to this move action. So this move action can do one other special little thing that's a little wrinkle in the game that adds a little meanness to it. If you
Pretty
take
mean. Pretty mean.
just the move action, not moving another way, but just the move action, you're allowed to not only move your boats at freely. So that's the one difference between like moving with a move action and other actions is in order to move with other actions, you must take the action with the boat at the end. So you can like move it out to the middle of the ocean with those actions. But this one, it can't. I can just, throw this guy way up here and be done as long as I would get closer. But what else I can do with him is I can move him on top of somebody else's boat to sink it. There are a couple rules that you must follow whenever you're sinking a boat. One is you can't sink a person's last boat. So in the case for me, I'm the only one with one boat. Nobody can sink my boat. It's a protected boat. You can't just knock me out of the game. That'd be pretty bad. The other rule is that whenever you go and sink somebody's boat, it's going to cost you points based on how many boats they have on the board. If they only have 2 boats on the board, it costs you 4 glory. If they have 3, it costs you 3. If they have 4 boats on the board, it only costs you 2 glory to sink one of their boats.
Very dastardly.
Yeah. So the more boats they get out there, obviously they're more efficient, but the more incentivized you are to go and attack them. The other thing about that, though, is you can't do it if you have no glory. So that's why, like, when I take this move action, obviously it's not letting me, go kill Dan's boats because I have no glory. I can't be unglorious if I have nothing to start with. So there's no going negative or anything. So that's a little dastardly wrinkle in the game. As you go through it, you can get a little mean by sinking people's boats and also adjusting the turn order that way by dropping points. That lets you pick first next round, so on and so forth. So something to definitely be on the lookout for as the game goes on is that boat sinking idea. But yeah, other than that, we're going to be taking actions, and then once we get to the end of this action round, we'll kind of go and talk through what we're doing so far. And then once we go to everybody's pass, I'll talk about kind of the end of the round cleanup, and then we'll go into the next round, and then that should be pretty much enough to get you to final scoring. But final scoring we'll talk about once we reach the end. So if you want to know more about that, and you don't want to watch our whole playthrough, you could probably jump to the last 10 minutes or so and see kind of how that goes. But yeah, did I miss anything, guys? Anything you can think of?
Sounds all good to me. Just be aware if you sink someone's boat, they might just sink your boat on the next turn.
They will probably sink your boat on the next turn. Hey, I sunk your boat first, and then you sunk mine. And then I sunk your boat again. I did tell RJ one time I played this game, I was like, if you sink my boat, I will... It was like the very same game we played at BGG Spring. I said, if you sink my boat, I will make sure that not only do I attack you this game, but every game for the whole weekend. So I get pretty intense.
One thing I'll say while Derek takes his action here, you saw us doing a couple undos here on Boardtogether.games, which is super awesome and useful. And you also heard us talking about how Derek couldn't undo his fishing turn. That's because Justin has created the website and the undo system here to not let you take back any, fresh information, like a card flip or a die roll or things like that. You're not going to be able to undo before that. And so just be aware, it's really nice for feeling out your options, right? When you're playing a game that maybe you don't know, is to click on fish and see where you can move your boat. But you don't want to click it, right? If you lock it in, you're rolling the dice and then you're committed. The other actions, though, don't have that commitment that you have to worry about as much. You can deliver, see how much money you get, back it up. Celebrate, see how many points you get, back it up, whatever you want to do.
Yep. The other big thing about this one is, of course, it has the full history over here on the side, so you can always see if you're playing an async game, what other people did really quickly, and then it also has kind of like BGA, a rewind system. You can use the top to not necessarily rewind the game, but lets you see how people actually did their moves. Really helpful if you you're playing at async and you're like, oh, I passed one round and didn't know what anything happened. So let me just go back and see how that round played out. And just so you know, for this site right now, there's no open matchmaking, kind of like BGA or something. So it's all by invite, but of course it's free to make an account. You know, if you find some players, especially if you're on the Dome Discord, you can come hang out. We're always looking for players. You can just ask us, get your usernames, and jump right into a game. And so for me, all I did was take an increased move action. So my increased movement is now +1. So you see, we're now adjusted to 6 for this current round, but will be +1 whenever I bid for the future.
Yeah. So I'm very short on cash. $3 left. So maybe I need to deliver. So we'll go here. Deliver the fish, and then I'll go up to my good friend Derek.
We're
Deliver
friends.
fish here.
All right, so Dan took both his boats, dropping 1 down here, deliver 1 and 1. That one over here, deliver 1, which gave him another 15 fish. So total value of 18.
15 shells.
15 shells,
Yep.
sorry. 15 shells. Shells and fish.
Where the real money is.
Where the real money is. Say in this thing, they don't even have a difference. You just put them both in the same track. So
Yeah, it's actually brilliant. Like, it works out really well.
yeah, you just have to remember that a fish on the 5 spot is not 5 fish. It's always
Right.
just 1 fish.
And a 5 quality fish is functionally the same as a 1 quality. It's just closer to expiring.
Yep.
Yep.
I believe this is where they got the Guy project track ideas. I'm just gonna assume, this is how it came to be. It's still just a crazy thing that this was made by one of the designers of like some of the most famous games on BGG.
And so, like, I hate to use another influence in a round where I already used 2, but I moved the fisherman god down here to be able to fish, and so I really want to fish, right? So I'm gonna fish,
Yep.
Which is part of the game. Like, a lot of times you don't get to do things that make you very happy. Hey, I caught a fish.
So James was 1 to get to
And-
1 fish there, which he did.
Yep, and that blue dot is the good thing we're looking for. So if it shows no dot, I'll be upset instead.
Like that.
That's
There we go.
That's,
There it is.
and that's the bullshit I'm talking about.
That's Kaivai, baby.
So that's the dice. That's what we're talking about. And some people, this is a 10-round essentially Euro game. I'm using that term lovingly for a change.
Yeah.
But it is a 10-round game of planning successive turns and trying to make it work and navigating the minefield of this action economy. And when you roll bad, it feels bad. It feels real bad.
Definitely feels bad, but it's definitely not like you're out. It's because of the way the economy works. Like, you definitely still stay in it.
It's thrilling when you roll great. So
Yeah.
so I'm always an advocate for it.
And the biggest thing too is like this game makes you think there's a lot of things that are necessarily bad in a normal Euro game, like rolling bad or especially like sacrificing a whole round to just get to influence. That seems
Sometimes you just have to.
oh my gosh, never do that. But like I've done that 3 times in a game. 3 of my 10 rounds were just passing and won the game still. So it's not necessarily like if you do it the right times, you can really still use that for your advantage.
That's good anecdotal information because every time I do that, I've figured I've just thrown the game away.
No. Especially like a good one when you can see, oh, if I pass this round, I'm out for this round. But I know, like, say, this person are going to have no influence going into the next round, so they may both pass, and so I may get a turn, where I'm doing 5, 6 actions. Lets you really kind of mess with that, which is fun. So I don't really want to spend influence right now. I'm fine with just going to the next round. But since this is a free celebrate and I have a fish, I see no reason to not just go ahead and get my 1 point for free while I can. And
I'll give you a reason, because I like to be early.
I know you like to be early in the turn order. How's that worked out for you so far? Not that good.
Has not resulted in a W, but I'm going to stick with it.
And I like to be late to react to everybody else.
There you go.
Then also, a free point's a free point. I don't
It
have to
is.
spend
Free point's
influence,
a free point. I agree.
And it also opens up my spot because people obviously like to get the 5 fish whenever they can.
Yep.
So if I have a spot that people can get 5 fish compared to 4 fish, I'd rather give them 5 fish. I do it for y'all. I do it for the people.
Do it for the people.
Do it for the people.
So, while it's still cheap, I think I should subtly increase my movement.
And we can look ahead here to see that we know Chris right now is going to be first in turn order, which means he will move the Fisherman's God. The reason we know that, myself, Dan, and Chris all have 0 glory, so it's a tie between us. And then who has the least amount of shells? We can just look at value in this case. Chris has 4. So assuming nobody else builds, which it costs 4 influence, nobody can, then nobody's going to be spending shells, which means Chris will be first.
Unless Chris would deliver to get shells.
Yes. But we could start to try to predict, as you play the game, where we think the Fisherman God could land. Probably next to Chris's meeting hut, right? That doesn't mean we know where, but that's part of the game as well.
Yep.
And I will be passing.
Pass.
I also pass.
I also pass.
Pass around.
Okay. So like you said, we have Chris now top. So what happened in between the 4th phase of every round is a very simple phase, which is the loss of value phase, which basically just says all of your counters move 1 space to the left. So all your fish degrades by 1, but any shells you have also degrade by 1. So basically for each different shell you have on your board, you lose 1 shell for that. So that's why like Dan was at 18. Since he had 4 shells on the board, he went down to 14. For somebody like Chris, he only had 1 shell on the board, so he only lost 1 value in total. And so, as you see, it's good to spend as soon as you can, because otherwise those shells just naturally lose value. Especially if, say, like your last action is to deliver on a turn, you're automatically delivering at a less value for you because those will degrade unless you spend them the turn you did it. That's basically
as if inflation weren't as painful enough in real life.
This has it. So now you do that, and then we reset the actions, so all the actions go back to 0 on them, and then you reset your bid trackers, so you will start with a new bid, and then it starts back at the top, phase 1 bidding, and then as James said, all tie for glory. So Chris gets to choose first because he has the least amount of value in shells. And that value is checked after degrading. So you may technically have more than somebody, but if like you had 2 shells on 2 and they had 1 shell on 4, you would drop down to 2, they would drop down to 3, you would go ahead of them.
I'm thinking, I don't know if I like the 1 movement of bidding 1. That's pretty rough.
That's the trade-off, right? You get to move the Fisherman God, you get to get an influence if you have a meeting hut, but you can't do a lot of moving, but you can build so cheap. That's what I think is so delicious about this track.
It's so delicious. If you have the shells. Chris does not have the shells.
I don't have the shells to build that cheaply.
Correct.
So I think I'm going to be looking for something else. I could go fast and think that I'm just not going to build boat distance. We'll go.
And that's the biggest thing you can do with your bidding as well. Like say in the 1 turn, like I'm not going to build that turn. Doesn't matter if I pick a building cost 1 then, because I'm not going to build.
Yep.
I'm just going to jump up here to 5 or 6, make sure I'm first, so I spend less influence, and then don't build that turn.
I'm going to go up to 6.
So Chris bids 6 with 4 natural boat movements.
And as I look at my bid, I do know this Fisherman God must leave, which means I will not be able to fish at this island down here unless I were to build and build up a Fisherman hut or a Fisherman God or whatever the hell we're calling it.
A Fisherman hut. Fisherman hut.
Fisherman hut.
Is the 2E version called.
So yeah. So this is where listen, I'm a one guy here. Like I love taking the one spot and moving the god, but I have nowhere to move it in a helpful place for myself. I'm especially not going to move it to the island right above my island and give a influence to Dan and Chris. That's not something I'm going to do. Which is my way of killing time to say I don't know what I'm going to do right now.
Right. Because in order to ensure that we won't get that influence, you have to basically go as early as you can in bid 1, but then you won't be able to move and fish.
Right. I could bid 1 and then just pass for the round, which would be kind of a crazy thing to
That'd
do.
be insane.
And just throw the
love it.
fisherman god over in the corner. Or
I love
something.
it. Just degrade. Just degrade.
But I'll try to do things instead.
No, that's a fun play. I like that play. It sounds fun.
I'm gonna go 4.
4.
Okay.
Dan's bidding 1. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm assuming, but
Now I'm thinking. I have all this money. I could. So the risk is what happens if I let Derek bid low and move the fisherman's god.
I mean, he doesn't have a meeting hut, but he would have a juicy place to fish. But he only has one boat.
one boat.
Right. One.
So I don't know.
Yeah, typically the opening is, I would say, a good portion of the game. You're going to do 2 boat opening, but it's not necessarily the end all be all. I don't think, but
It's a pretty nice feeling.
it's
to
pretty
have
nice
2
feeling.
boats.
Yeah, to be able to do 2 things instead of just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody can see my boat, so ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Can't get me.
I do have a bonus movement.
So you have a movement of 2 baseline.
Bare minimum is 2. And I think that offers me at least enough flexibility. I'll do the safe thing and bid 1.
All right. So coming back to me, I still have a base bid of, a +1 as well. So this would be a 3. This would be like a 4. I do have quite a few shells still left over. So bidding somewhere around 5, even though it cost me up front more to build. I could say, since I'm only building once, more than likely, just pay a little bit more this turn. But maybe with some people's values are questionable. Maybe I do get a chance to build twice in this round. It would be nice. I don't think it'll be the case, but it'd be nice. So let's say if I'm here, if I want to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, I need to go 4 to get there. And that would be a build of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, leaving me with still 7. So that wouldn't allow me to build twice, but if I built with here before, I would still probably not get to build twice. So I'm probably not building twice. I think I would rather just make sure I get some less influence costing actions. So I'll bid 5.
Crazy. Look at us. 6, 5, and 4. Thought I was going to get an early choice of actions, but nope.
Nope. 3rd place. Should have just bid 1. Should have done it.
Maybe I
Teaches you to not do what you usually do, James.
So basically, what's highlighted now are all the free ocean hexes which would border an island which the fishing god is not currently on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
We can't see that, so
Yeah, we can't see it,
Like,
so we just see that
only
open
you
board.
can see that.
Oh, right. Because Derek's name is highlighted at the top because he took the most recent action.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So I will have to. Is there any reason not to give myself and Chris influence? I don't believe so.
Yep, so he chose to put the Fisherman's God here, and so he expanded the island to there.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Fishing.
Which, of course, gave Chris and him both an influence.
Up there.
So
Boom.
we have a fishing action taking place.
He
Chris
caught a fish.
catching a fish over on the Fisherman's God spot. And then also going back over there and catching another fish. So 2 more fish.
2 fish.
For Chris.
All right.
And he could have fished just for the same 1 die roll down at his fisherman cottage or at the god, just for the record. And again, you have to fish on adjacent to a cult square of that island. So there are only 3 other fishing spots next to the god, just for the sake of discussion, you know.
So I'm going to take a build. I'm going to move my boat over here to this little island that's got nobody on it. And I will build a boat hut there so I can get my second boat out. So that cost me my 5 bid plus another just 1. So I still have 6 shell value left.
I have a really gross choice here between spending 1 influence to go fish or passing for the round is really what I consider my 2 options.
You have 4 fish you can deliver?
I could. You're right. But then I'd have to spend an influence to build if that were the case. And I want to fish because it's right here next to me.
It's so close. It's so close. Yeah, so
everyone has a lot of influence but me, so I can't really guess what people might do.
Just to discuss like the difference between first and second edition, like the biggest one, of course, is the 10 versus 8 rounds, which most people say with the 8 rounds, of course, it's a shorter game. This game can take a while to play. I mean, talking 3-4 hours. But you lose a lot of the long-term strategy with the 8 round, and passing for 2 influence feels worse, just naturally worse with 2 less rounds. The change of putting where the fish goes, either 4 or 5, is a choice, but I don't think a lot of times it really would turn out to actually matter. I don't think you're allowing it to get to the 1 spot very often, if at all.
I'm going fishing.
And then the change of giving the automatic die roll with the Fisherman's God is just, less luck either way. But James doesn't need it. He gets to get the fish no matter what. So
This is pretty mean too, because Dan got to move the god to a place where he would hope to fish, right?
I mean, he also could only have fished once there.
Yeah,
so
I know. But
I don't
now
think
they're
it
all
was-
taken.
I don't think it was a huge blow to him to not fish.
Now, in theory, I could get to the island where my fisherman is, get adjacent to its cult hex, and fish there. However, I can't move that far.
Right.
It would take at least a movement of 3 and 4 with your 2 boats, which you have a base movement of 2.
You could take a move action and then a fish action next wraparound if it's still available and if you wanted to. And I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
But it's a thing you could do.
Okay.
Or increase his movement and then be able to as well.
Yes.
Everybody else has. I worry that if I don't build now, people are just going to start building.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot this rule. This is not implemented in this version of the game. But just so you know, there is one last rule that you can do during the game, which is the giving a gift option. Which, from verbatim from the rulebook, I'll read, at any time you may give a shell to or a fish to another player. If everybody else at the table agrees that that was a glorious deed, you receive 1 point. So
Stupidest rule I've ever heard.
it is a rule, though. And this is a rules teach, so need to make sure we mention everything. So like I said, this game was, like I said, 2005 and now 2010 for second edition and has never seen an English publication. But from Justin talking to Helge, okay, apparently there is a game based on the systems of Kaivai, possibly coming out in, I think it's Portuguese or something like that. It's like he mentioned like somewhere in South America, I think.
Dan just disappeared, so great time to tell this story.
Yeah. Oh, it's his action too. Cool.
Yeah, great, cool.
But yeah, so apparently he's talking to him, says that there's some kind of game that is in the works to be published in South America that uses some of the is not based on, but like influenced by Kaivai, I guess is the words maybe he's using.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm intrigued to see what happens with that, because I mean, this is, like I said, a now almost 20-year-old game that very few people have played.
Well, hopefully this website can help change that.
And this teach, the only
teach.
available.
Officially your favorite teach of Kaivai, everyone.
And also the worst teach of Kaivai.
And now our fourth player has disappeared mid recording.
Just straight up gone.
Yeah, no, he says he's on his way back.
Okay.
In the chat.
He just,
His power just went off.
oh, nice. I was like,
tell him to get on his phone and take his turn.
yeah, take his turn, bro. I don't care about your face. I just want to see your turn. Hey.
Hey, let me tell you about this magical little company called DTE Power. There's no rain or anything. Right. So, thanks for ruining my concentration. I felt like, I was exploring my build options here. If I go here, I could build another meeting hut.
Boom.
If I go,
Goes there, pays the 2 plus the 1, so just 3 of his 14 to build a meeting hut. And then boom, builds another boat hut for just 4 more.
I feel like that's probably good.
Okay. Then it wraps around back to the top to Chris.
Some nice cheap builds right there.
But the map is already feeling claustrophobic.
It does. It gets nasty quick, where it's just a bunch of little straights and
Yeah, people get in your way and you're like, get out of my way. Sometimes just like, I'm gonna sink you, not because of like you're winning, just because you're in my way.
You're in my way.
Like, I want to go there. All right, so delivery, Chris delivering just to himself. And 2 to James. James,
how glorious.
And then still has 2 fish he's allowed to deliver with his other boat, which he does to himself and to Dan. I shouldn't have been in the lead. Now nobody wants to give me fish. I'm also away from everybody else right now. Good setup.
I can't reach you.
I know. Here, I'll try to help. Okay, so then with my action, a couple free actions available.
It does always feel good to do the free increase movement.
It really
like it
does, just because it's
always feels good.
nothing going
Gives
on.
you flexibility. It's like a research action in a splatter game. Like, I'll just take that, move up a track.
Yeah, because I kind of want to fish right now just to prevent others from fishing, but it is kind of a costly action. So I think I will just go ahead and do an increase move right now.
I have 0 influence, so my choices are move, celebrate, or pass. I'll
So-
take this chance to get a free 2 points.
Free
to
2
celebrate.
points. Free 2 points.
I could, for the sake of discussion, celebrate Chris's 3 fish down here, and I would get 1 point. He would get 3. I assume he's going to do it eventually. Why not let myself get a point off of it? Is the argument, and I shoot him into first, which means he's later in turn order. But I'm going to take the free 2 points.
But of course, you get to hope the actions come around to where you get to score those at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a strong chance that I'm looking at a full pass round next round to get some influence back.
Oh, because you're in first now too, so you don't get first dibs.
Well, no, Dan's in first.
You're in first.
He'll have
you have
5.
2 points. You have 2 points, sir.
Oh, yeah. When I say first, I'm thinking about first in bid order.
First in bid order. No, I'm thinking
First
of
in big glass.
first in points.
Yes, I am winning. We can say that.
This is tricky. Let's see.
No,
Both of you
this
guys
isn't
have
tricky.
three
This is a different show. Sorry.
Right. Tricky is.
Are
on
we
height.
are you guys gonna do Dome Fishy? Like just have fish-based games?
That should have been what we called this. Oh God, Dan, we're working on that one. Would have been epic. And then we could have played Fresh Fish like next week and seen how long we could stretch this out.
Well, yeah.
Maybe
Play
there's
Fresh
still
Fish and
chance
we're
for
done.
some branding.
Can you play That's My Fish online somewhere?
If it's on BGA, for the sake of the joke.
I don't
yeah.
think it is it?
It's on Yukata.
Oh, is it on Mikata? Interesting.
Yeah.
Could play some.
Sea salt and paper. Would that
I
that
guess
fly?
it's got a fish in
I
it.
feel
Right?
like it would fly.
You can play some Frank Zoo on
play-
PCIO.
Let's see where I could fish.
Virtual Happy Salmon. Happy Salmon.
Just don't click again, or you're in. You're in.
You're in. You're fishing. You be fishing.
I can fish twice.
And double
Yeah.
fish.
Oh,
double
there you
cod
go.
fish.
Look at this fish guy. Little
Look at
fish
these
guy.
fish guys. Fish.
Voice.
Go back to the Discord real quick and find the top 10 games based on
Fish.
fish.
The fish games.
All right. So it's my
Maybe
turn.
Justin wants to implement that fake fish game that is popping up.
Kind of feels like it's made for Board Together. I'm not gonna lie.
What
Not
game
that
is
I've
that?
played it or found it yet.
Wait, what
The
game?
carp
Oh, the carp game.
eating
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
that,
Oh yeah, it's the carp one.
I don't even know how to pronounce the actual name of it, but
So I'm gonna take a move action, just because it's free and because it lets me, since I have a high movement value this turn,
Position.
lets me possibly get into a good position for next turn if I take a low movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move one of them down here to this little island by itself. And then I'll move another one. So it'll probably be right now it's Dan picking again, which is interesting because he's building their meeting hut. So I'm gonna move, like, say, over here, and that'll be my move action.
I am passing.
You know, a lot of these games do have online implementations, like Reef Encounter.
Yeah, it's true.
Raven
That would fly. Yeah.
I want to see the online implementation of Happy Salmon. All right, I'm passing.
Pass and
I think. Do you
pass.
think it's fair to mention here, Derek, at least a very broad overview of endgame potential points?
Yeah.
Which is simply to say, every hut you do build is worth 2 points.
Yes.
First
so,
of all, so building is always good.
Yep.
Right?
Straight up,
Like,
building a hut gives you 2 points no matter what at the end of the game. Always a good thing to do. And then the other scoring that happens is kind of this weird auction-y thing that happens. And so for each island, you'll be able to score points based off of the number of cult hexes that make it up. So it doesn't care about huts, just the number of cult hexes. That's why, obviously, another good thing about controlling the Fisherman's God is controlling which islands actually grow and become more valuable. So at the end of the game, for each of those islands, whoever's in last place at the current time, if that changes during the last round, as points get scored, it can be somebody else. But they'll choose an island hex, or an island, and then you will look at the influence people have at that island. The influence comes from 1 for each hut, 1 for each boat that's touching a cult hex of that island. Another good thing about that is, say, like, if cult hexes end up being built next to each other from different islands, you could actually have your boat sit in between them, and the boat counts for both. Kind of neat.
Pretty cool.
And so it counts for your boats that are next to it, your huts, and then also that is where any influence you have left over at the end of the game can help you. Because even if you have no influence baseline at an island, you can choose to blind bid influence you have in order to gain influence on islands in order to compete for their scoring.
Yep.
Whoever has the most influence will obviously get to score 1 point per cult hex on that island. And if a tie happens, nobody gets anything. The other thing about bidding influence is if you win it at influence bid, you get rid of all influence you bid on it. But if you lose it, you get to keep your influence. There's a weird thing about tying while bidding influence. I think in the translation or something, one time it was like, if you tied, you both lost it.
Yeah.
But
on the influence bid itself. Yeah.
On the influence bid itself, like if you say 2 people tied and you'd bid any influence, you would lose it. And in some translations, you didn't win, you wouldn't necessarily get rid of it, because it only says if you win a bid, you get rid of it. So I think this implementation does that ruling as far as, and I think that's probably the best way to play, is if you tie, you just both get to keep it and nobody scores points.
I'd say in my plays, because influence is so tight, it's pretty rare that we head into scoring and people are holding like 7 influence just ready to do this like crazy auction game.
Yeah, typically where people are going to bid their influence too, so it's not like you're going to have a chance to tie.
Yeah.
But that little tiebreaker can be a wrinkle, but usually it's null and void. Okay, so we had a bit of 1 classic, saw it coming. A bit of 4. I think what I'm gonna do is take this 2 bid right now and be happy with it, knowing that James is probably passing.
Yeah, just don't know if I'm gonna yet. I just don't know.
If he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. But
these fish are they're getting a little stinky. We kind of need to be dropped off somewhere. So.
You got 2 more turns. What are you gonna do? Just deliver them and lose a lot of your value because you don't build?
True. You're not wrong. I'm thinking I might just shove them all on my island.
Dude, that'd be nuts. Just like dump 6 fish on your island.
I was thinking
the early lead, the early target.
That might be the play. Yeah, shoot out 2 leads, see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens.
And then one thing I didn't mention was the setup as well. So on the base board, there are, I think, 6 of the 8 islands are planted already, so they're always the same. And then it says to randomly put out 2 of them at least 3 spaces away from any other cult hex. So you just kind of throw 2 on the board somewhere, and that's kind of your little bit of randomized setup from that.
Dan, you want to turn your camera back on so that people can see your beautiful face?
Oh shoot! I did not realize.
Let him see.
I was off. Oh no, it's dark.
So
I'll fix
dark.
that.
It's so dark.
He's playing by candlelight because of all the power problems.
I had to do that at a local game store one time. It was like it started snowing a little bit, the power went out, but they had a bunch of candles, so we were just like, we're gonna finish our game by candles. It's kind of cool. It was Marco Polo, so it wasn't really the best thing, but it's still kind of fun.
I am gonna just deliver a bunch of fish to myself.
Dude, who is this James, bruh?
I'm gonna mess around.
Liver more fish.
Never seen this James.
Well, what I've been doing hasn't been working, so let's fill them up.
It's all down to that one missed die roll.
Yeah, it put me on tilt.
That's the reality.
What's gonna really suck for you is whenever you don't have anywhere to fish at all. All your fish are gone. We got a fishing. Oh, Chris,
More fishing.
we're fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I could take a build action. My build options, though, are only for one right now. So I'd rather take a deliver action than possibly take the turn to build. So let's deliver. Let's have a move of 4. So this guy come over here and do 1 and 2 and 1. So that's 2 to Dan. And then this guy over here, I have 2 fish left. Not really any spaces to get double 5s. So I'm fine with kind of spreading the wealth and giving 1. You know what? I'll just do 2 to that one. Oh, wait, go back. I'll just do 2 over here to Chris on this island, so I keep both islands at 2 instead of making a 1 island a 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boom! There's all those tasty shells. Tasty shells? I don't think that's right, but
Shells and cheese, shells and fish.
shells and cheese. What?
Shells and cheese and fish.
Oh, like mac and cheese. I was like, what's happening with shells and cheese? I got it. I made it there.
Okay, so man, I was thinking I was gonna try and fish with this god up all in my business, but maybe it's time to build on the cheap. Nobody's taking it, so let's do it.
It's true.
You get 1
You'd have to find a place to
build.
so you can just expand your little island there in the
Yeah,
middle.
your little empire.
Oh wait, right. Hang on, let's go
It's
back.
gonna be 1 plus whatever you built at. So
Yeah. So
really 1 build action.
yeah, so it's 1 plus all the hexes that make up the island, right?
Yep.
So on the okay, so it'd be 5 for that island, 6 for that island, and 4 for the other island. Interesting. Let's set up myself for success. Maybe. Who knows what I'm talking about? I don't.
Wow, Mr. Fishy Fishy over here.
Ooh, Mr. Fishy.
Well, I'm gonna celebrate and just
jump into the big lead.
make 10 points and just be
10 points. Everybody get them.
in first for the whole game. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Time to go sink some boats.
Yeah, just start sinking everybody's boat now.
Oh man. Alright, let's try.
Just put everybody down to 1 boat just because you can. What a strat. That's the thing is, like, with this game, like, I've seen people pass a lot. I've seen people sink boats. I've seen people not sink boats. Like, there's just so many different things you can do that, you know, I think it opens up a lot of options. Okay, so the thing I want to do is build. I'm definitely going to build. However, I don't have to build now because nobody else can take the build action. because the only other person that has the influence to do it would be Chris, and he has 1 shell.
No money. Yeah.
So I would rather just go ahead and take another increased movement action for free.
Yeah, it's
Getting
nice.
that an awful lot.
Just
I'm blaming the other 2 players.
I wish
what I do.
I wish like at the end of the game you got bonus points for that too. You know, I think you should get 1 point per
Oh, how far you got
extra
it up?
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come
That
on.
would be annoying, actually. Talk about Euro-y.
Talk about Euro. That'd be that's
Yeah.
that's a Euro rule right there. It's probably good.
I bet that's in the new game they're making.
It probably is. Yeah.
Almost certainly.
Almost. In the new game, you probably like get points for just sharing fish too. It's like, oh, look all these points you get. Ooh.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. I want this new game to be really
Oh,
good.
wait.
I want this game to succeed no matter what because Kaivai's awesome.
All right, fishing. I gotta be next to that. Pulse.
Age of Fish. Can't wait for it.
Fish.
That's kind of what this game is, right? You don't let your fish age. So it's not like, aged beef. All right, cool. I'll just do this.
1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, 2 fish. Oh my gosh, look at this man fishing like a
Double.
maniac. The double
All
double.
those fish. Oh, this is me.
Yep, this is
Oh,
you.
you know what? I'll take a move. Where? Let's see. Who's gonna end up with the god? No idea.
Right now,
Actually,
it's
it's
still
gonna
between those
be-
2, and I don't think they're gonna celebrate. So
I don't think they will either.
it will.
They might.
It'll go to Chris.
Chris might take a 1 influence celebration here to get 4. That ain't bad.
Well, I can't celebrate, that's for sure.
Right. Oh man. Taking a sinker's pretty tempting right now, I'm not gonna lie. Plus no
Taking a
influence.
sinker. That's a new word for it.
It costs me 4 points if I sink. If the
Yeah.
less ships somebody has, the worse.
One of the 2 if they only have 2 ships because you can't sink the last
Yeah.
ship, right? So, yeah, it costs you
No.
4 points to sink
No.
anybody's ship right now.
No. I'm just gonna pass.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that build action, even though it cost me 2. It's definitely the round to do it. Oh wait, no, it's Chris. Sorry.
Oh, yep.
For some reason,
So I'll build now.
you can't build. You can't do it.
No, I know.
We're talking about this.
Big. Yeah, I'm thinking about the celebrate. Gives Dan a point.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why can't he build?
Because he has
Oh,
the
because
I don't have any
one
money.
shell.
Yes, the money.
I got
the
no
shell.
I got
Shell money.
No
as
bucks.
the game calls it.
Yeah, your shell money.
It does call it shell money.
I think I'm gonna move. This guy.
Moving boats. Okay, now I dig a build. So one of my builds is going to be to chill out over here with the Fisherman's God and build me a meeting hut. Sounds like a fun idea.
Oh yeah.
So I'll go over here and drop that meeting hut here. And the other one will be to... I'm not too upset spending value right now, but I just feel like I want to be closer to the action as well. If I build over here on this far left hex, it costs less, but then I'm got 2 boats a billion miles away from anything. So I'd rather have my 2 boats kind of close to the action. So I'll build a boat right up here.
I must pass.
All right, so I can take a celebrate, I can take an increase move. I could make a celebration, get a point, and then also get first dibs on where the thing goes. Oh, is that a good? Is that a? That may be a really good move.
No, because Dan would have 1, but you'd have 2. If you
Oh, I would
celebrated
get a
their
point.
4.
What if I just
Yeah.
do this island and give them both a point? I'm
Yeah.
still ahead of Dan though, because Dan.
I don't know though. Pay an influence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
I could get last, I'd be fine with it. But I cannot get last anyway because Dan won't get 2 points. Dan has to because he only has 1 shell.
Yep.
So never mind that idea. It was a quick idea that it turned out was really bad. So. So let's give it out to Chris because they're both tied at no shells. But we go to fish, and he has only 2 fish to Dan's 5
There
fish.
you go. Yep.
And if fish are tied, I can actually look this up because he really cares.
Influence, maybe. I think.
It may go to huts at some point too. I'm just trying to remember which.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tiebreakers. It really doesn't work.
It ultimately comes down to random if you get there. So.
Scrolling back up.
I got not a lot of money. I'll take the
Go shells, then
Burn
fish
order.
counters, then number of canoes, then huts on the board.
Okay.
If you want to just really get down to brass tacks. I like a 2-bid of being ahead of Chris. Don't really mind that. Just make James have to feel like he needs to keep not passing. All right, Chris, I know it's tempting to give yourself an influence, but just think about if you put it somewhere else and you can make it to where James still can't fish.
Think about if you put it somewhere else and you don't get an influence.
No. I like the James still can't fish.
Yeah, because he's gonna try to fish down here if I put it down south, right?
Right.
I mean, I
Or
could
if I put-
fish either place you would put it that are logical for yourself. I can fish at. So
Yeah, or I could just put it in nonsense land, but why would I do that?
It'd be fun. It'd be funny.
Mhm.
sometimes
Although
you just
really-
gotta go full Sanchez. You
Yeah,
know?
full Sanchez. Just screw James. Although doesn't it mean that Dan can't just do the fish action to start off the game and then? Oh no, you took a higher. He just has a +1.
I did.
Yeah. So that he could guarantee that he can fish.
Yeah, I missed.
Well, I
Um,
can guarantee that I could do something or I could pass.
Mhm.
Like
Sure.
I missed that.
Okay.
He's in the +1 movement, so he's at 5-5. You're at 4-6.
Put it up there.
Oh, not the influence going down low
Hmm.
for his own little island. And so that's the biggest thing too. Like he could give himself an influence, but then he's increasing an island where he currently has less
Yeah.
value compared
and he's
to.
giving Dan one. Who
And he's
has
giving Dan
none,
one. Yeah. So
You know.
you kind of got to play off like sometimes.
Yep.
Even though there's a good
Mhm.
option for you, it might be still good enough for somebody else.
I do think
Yeah, right.
I do think I want to go fish him though because
Hmm.
why not?
I hope you get none. What if you get none and you do nothing this round? Think about it, James.
Sometimes the gods, that's just what they do. You know.
That reminds me, I was watching the Lions game, and one of the commentators was saying, "Man, I hope he's short and it's 4th and 1, so they have to go for it because I love
Two
watching
fish.
them go for it."
2 fish. Boo.
2 fish.
I
Got my
forgot.
fish.
James played for Board Together Plus, so he never actually gets the blanks. He only gets fish. Special, I think $100 a month subscription you can pay, Justin. Is that right?
It's pretty pricey. Yeah. Worth it though.
Worth it though for second places in Kaivai.
Pays for itself in fish, which you then sell for shell money or points.
Dan also sitting on no influence.
Yep.
Options 2. Go ahead and
He does have
pass.
a lot of fish though to drop off.
Does have a
so-
lot of fish to drop off. But he does have time to drop those off.
I get 3 fish.
So Dan is selling. He's selling, boys.
Now I got.
And sold. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to take this build action for shows. And then if I want to try to maximize it, my base build is 2. So if I built over here, that'd be 4. There's no way I could build all 3 spots. So I have to pick and choose where I want to do this at. I also want to think about what I'm going to do with said actions in the future. So put there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have 5 left to build. It's not a bad option. Let's go ahead and take this guy over here. We are going to build a fishing hut here. And then, oh shoot, is that right? How much do I have left? I have 3. Oh, I have 3. Go back. Dang it. Bad math. Oh, I have 8. I forgot. I lost 2. So we got. It's still a build, but it's not as fun of a build anymore. So I think I still go ahead and I move this guy down here and place just a meeting hut over here in the corner. And then I use this guy to still go ahead and do this move of building a fishing hut on that island. He increased his movement. Classic. James with the option to celebrate or to move.
I'll celebrate.
It's not a bad option to get 2 points along with them both getting 3.
Yeah.
And a free action, yeah. So he's choosing celebrate there, which gives both Chris and Dan 3, but himself 2 glory because of the 6 fish that were there. It's basically almost equal to them without having any fish there at all.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. To move. Moving's good.
Moving boats. Boats for the boatman.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to pick first. The problem is with that is that this boat is not in a great position for what I want to do. And I have a 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't necessarily fish or build with that. So I think I'm going to pay 1 to do just a really random move. But to set myself up for a better turn next round. It's costly, but I think it's worth it. So I'll move him over here. And then I'll move him here. And then he is fine where he's at. Wait, go back. Undo. Is that what I want to do? I think so. But I need to put him... Yeah, okay. Yeah, still there. Move him... I guess I want to move him more... like in this area. Okay, and then skip. All right, to Chris with his 2 influence, he got some options still.
Fishing.
He's fishing. Ooh, little blanky.
Yeah, I didn't get the premium.
And then that's the only fish he can catch because his other boat is in the middle of
It's
nowhere.
too far. Yeah, I was
Just
hoping James would decide to move and get out of there, but
camped out.
Mm-hmm.
I passed.
I pass.
Pass.
And I bid uno. You know, I felt really weird reading the synopsis for this game too, because like I kind of knew what the theme was, but I honestly had no idea what Kaivai meant. So I was like, oh, it's like a term for like, you know, water eater. So I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I was like, I never read that blurb until right before preparing for this teach.
So let me see if I got my adjacency stuff straight.
Too big.
Fishing only happens adjacent to cult sites.
Yep.
Yep.
To cult sex. Yes. Cult sex.
Deliveries happen next to non-fisherman huts.
Yep.
Not cult sites.
Not cult hexes.
And not boat houses that have a ship on them, right?
Yeah.
So there's no wood.
You have to move the boat first. All right, I'm dropping mine down there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting myself a little influence action on.
Ooh, I actually thought you were going to dump it up there for some massive dice chucking.
Nah, I felt like he can still fish there. You know,
Yeah, I don't think the math is not better.
Yeah.
It's just, it might be more fun.
It would be fun, but
rolling digital dice already isn't fun. So, you know.
Yeah, it's not as fun in real life. More fun in real life when you got those dice chucking. I figured it gets me influence and allows me to still roll 1 dice. So in the end, I could have rolled 6 dice with less odds or 5 dice with a little better odds.
Yeah.
And influence. Especially because Chris is over here fishing away already. So.
Yep.
All right. I think it might be time to
pass.
Sacrifice. Because I could only go hit Derek's god once, and that's not good enough.
Yep, there's only 1.
And my deliver. I mean, I could go deliver, but I only got 2. I'd rather have more fish to deliver. Yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
Full pass. Big pass.
Full pass for 2 influence. It happened, guys. It happened.
Yep. It's fun. The game really does allow you to approach it in wildly different ways.
Yeah.
I've heard of the very few people I've heard talk about Kaivai. One thing I've heard someone say, I wish I could tell you who, it's probably JC Lawrence, is you want to be taking turns doing a different thing than everyone else is doing, right?
Yep.
That's the kind of idea, like a reverse tempo consideration, where if people this round really want to fish, I don't give a...
Like I'm building. I'm building. I'm
Yeah.
building on the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vice versa.
Okay.
People want to fish. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's a big thing. That's where I think where the passing comes in, because sometimes not necessarily like there's stuff that you still could do, but passing can help you get that tempo back in like a more favorable direction.
Yep.
Like say you want to fish, but of course Chris fishing, and then I'm gonna fish this round. So if you wait, we're probably not gonna fish next round. Boom,
Yep.
fishing comes more available to you. Okay, so I'm gonna definitely fish because Chris could fish again if he wanted to. And so I'm gonna move this guy back to this hex. Oh god, there it is.
Oh, goose
There it
egg.
is.
On 2 dice.
Oh.
Oh,
And then 5 dice results in 2 fish.
2 fish. Got him.
See, if I would have put the guy there, I could have rolled the classic 3 blanks.
3 blanks instead of 2 blanks. The Kaivai gods have spoken.
They have spoken. I'm overfishing. I need to stop fishing so much. Come on. Respect the fish population.
It's a real problem. Overfishing in 1,000 years ago Polynesia.
Oh, Chris just dropping
There we go.
emotes.
Fish.
Dan getting the cheap
Ooh,
build
the influence bump.
for the influence bump,
It's a
as
fun
well
one.
as taking the build action with nobody on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a James here, take a little celebration.
You
Oh,
guys
still
sink my
building.
boat?
We still got to
Oh,
build.
okay.
I forgot you still have the build action possible.
Um,
Up here with me in the corner. Woo.
Yeah, it's a pretty good celebrate spot right there.
Yep.
oh, right. There's too many things. Okay.
The only part you can build into the top left up there.
Yeah.
Because you have a build of 2 plus 2, which would spin it all down.
Guess I do a fishing? I mean,
You can build the
Take
influence
two
hut just to be
boats.
away from everybody else. Or you can give just yourself influence. Or you can build in the boat. There you
oh yeah, there was a meeting hut too.
go. Boom.
Okay.
Yep. So I get 2, and then they get the classic 3 and 3 for them. Letting me have some points.
Huh?
And I don't think I mentioned this, but there is a limit of, I believe. Gosh, what's the limit on that?
Point limit? Oh, the fish.
The
cap.
huts. Like, of
the
course, you can only
bonus.
have the 4. I didn't say this, but you can only have 4 boats no matter what.
Yeah.
Piece limited.
And then the other huts, you have 15 total huts, which have, of course, backside of the mini hut, front sides of the boat hut. So technically, you can only have 15 huts on the board maximum, and only 4 of those could be
Oh, snap. We got a sinking.
a sinking.
Chris
It's
just
my
sunk
boat.
you there. My boat.
My boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
He can't even fish.
Yeah.
And he sung my boat for no
don't need
reason.
it.
Dan's out here with a
I need to
billion.
lower.
Dan's out here with a billion
Ah.
goddamn huts.
Mm-hmm.
4 boats out there.
4 boats, and you're thinking my boat?
Exactly.
Checks out.
Well, I'm trying to lower my glory to the right level.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still gonna pay before you, anyways.
He might
Oh,
do
will
a
you?
massive build. He could spend all his money.
There's no way you can spend that much money. I have zero.
$22.
$22, which is 2
22 shell
ships.
money?
Yeah, there's
You
no
don't-
way. I guess maybe he could because he has a build of 6. I just realized he has a build of 6. So
Yeah,
he definitely
I-
could.
Yeah, I definitely could. Yeah. I could spend all of my money.
That'd be such a waste, man. What a waste.
I don't know. Pop a bunch of huts out there.
We can only pop 2. What does it matter? He only has 2. He only has 2 ships.
Mm-hmm.
So he's spending 22 shell money for 2. Dan just spent like 5 shell money.
Oh, more glory. Doesn't matter.
Pass.
Everything changed.
Everything changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
get wrecked.
You're in last.
Get wrecked,
I'm
Chris.
still building.
Just do it
No,
again.
Chris, you get wrecked.
Do it
Well,
again.
I'm planning on getting wrecked, but yeah. Let's try to do this one.
Sink my boat.
God. Yeah, go
Right
see
there.
somebody else's boat.
Oh wait, no, you know what? Shoot, hold on a second. I counted wrong there.
Yeah, sink somebody else's boat.
No. I actually was. It didn't let me sink 2 boats. Is that a rule? You can only sink
Yeah,
1 boat on a
one
turn.
boat
Okay.
per turn and only 1 boat per round, I believe. It's a limitation. You can only do it.
Nobody-
You can only do it once, period, in the round, I believe.
I'll check that real quick. Just gonna have the rules here.
Like nobody else can sink a boat this round.
Oh no, only Chris can only sink 1 boat, I believe, in the entire round.
I never like had a reason to sink more than 1 boat in a round, so I didn't actually know that was a rule or not.
I think.
Well, I was hoping to sink both of your ships right next to each other, actually. So
Oh my god. Just
God,
completely
brutal.
take me out of the game. I would make sure you died. You would never win this game, Chris. Just so you know.
Chris, it still says it's on you. Oh, there we go.
yeah, I said the pass.
I
Yeah,
passed.
it went around and
Got it.
I just want to see the movement action real quick so I can confirm that.
Let me see. I'm gonna look up my translation here too. Yes. Each of the player's boat may perform this action once per turn. So each of the player's boat.
Yeah, I
According to the
don't see
translation.
a rule causing that not to be the case. I think you didn't have enough glory to do that, right? How many glory did you have?
maybe yeah, because it wouldn't. I
Oh,
had
you
3
were-
left.
You had 3
Yeah,
left,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
didn't have enough
Yeah.
glory to do it. Is the reason why
Yeah.
you
Would have
couldn't
been
do
4
it.
to sink another one.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
That's right.
think that's a rule, but I don't know.
So it is.
Yeah,
It is once per player's boat, which would
each boat.
It's the same rule.
mean-
You could technically, if you had 4 boats, you could sink 4 ships if you had the glory to
could,
pay
yep.
for it. Yeah.
Yep.
What I should have done is sunk one of Dan's.
Oh
boats to get
really?
down.
Oh now you say.
Or
Oh, yeah,
less
now you say that. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
one of yours.
Yeah.
One of theirs, one of Dan's.
As long as we're not sinking me, I'm okay with all this, everybody. So
Where am I going? I'm good. I don't even know if I like. You want to be last? I don't know if I care about putting that out. Like,
God's getting antsy.
do I even care?
I don't know that you care, unless you do want to throw triple fishing.
I mean, I can't throw more.
Well, you got no
I gotta
influence.
fish. I got no influence. That's the thing. I got no influence, so it's probably just a pass round. So I may as well take it just so nobody else gets it, and then pass.
I mean, you can put it up in the top right, but then you all get influence,
Yeah, all
which
get
almost
influence, yeah.
feels worse.
It's gross. Yeah, it's kind of gross. So I think I would rather just go ahead and take the one.
Oh, Chris had I didn't even see he had that double meeting hut set up. He really wanted that.
Yeah, duh. Get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Go
Forces
sink
you
somebody
to-
else's
yeah,
shit
yeah.
for once, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Guess he's gonna have to.
Oh, yeah. This turn, I got to sink some ships, get lower glory.
You know, there's a guy in first place that you didn't sink a ship for. Yeah.
Don't make me start counting huts before we call me first place. Run away
Either
with
of you. I don't care. Either of you.
my 3 ships over here.
The guy who's solely in last place, he
Yeah,
sinks his ship.
Dan's got
Yes.
nine huts on the board.
I know it's
He's
ridiculous.
he's definitely in first.
He's
among
had so many
beyond
easy
me.
builds. It's insane.
Now, let's see if I can get away with this. Okay.
You only have 3 huts on the board, which is kind of hilarious. Like, so
I do. I haven't done anything since the first turn.
you built once, and that was it. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, my setup was definitely I'm teaching the game. I'm not playing for strategy.
Right.
Setup.
What am I gonna do?
Pass again. Just pass
Just
again.
continue passing.
And then just bid all your influence in the last go around. It's kind of funny the way that
That
people
could be a
talk about
strategy.
on the BGG forums. It seems like a lot of them usually have like a lot of influence going into that last bid. I'm like, how? I'm like, what? Like, how's that
Are you
possible?
guys taking no actions?
Yeah.
Pass the whole game.
If you do want
Pass,
to read
pass,
a lot
pass.
of stuff, though, you can read J.C. Lawrence's comments on like everything. It's kind of not 100% sure it's like a game he loves, but he definitely has played it a lot.
Oh boy. This is great.
The decision space depth is just blowing my mind. In between, especially the increase from first play to like second, and this is now third.
It does. The clarity happens quickly. And then once you understand the options,
It also helps that my first non-async play
yeah.
Yeah.
with voice chat.
Derek, move the god.
Yeah, I'm moving the god. I was trying to decide where on this island I want it to be. That doesn't really matter. He has the movement to do whatever the hell he wants. It's just one. He's already there. So let's just put it up here.
Put it up there so Dan can fish even more here.
It's not like, where else am I going to put it? Name me one other good spot. I'll wait.
Down here, my island.
Oh, yeah. I said one other
I'm
good
just
spot,
saying.
James.
I'm just saying that would help nobody. Only Chris could even fish it.
Yeah, give you influence.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. Give me
Give me
influence at another
influence or
point.
give Dan. Dan's about to get like 8 fish this
I mean,
turn.
he can already fish 2 dice at this place 3 times. It actually doesn't even matter because he's already his guy was already there. It's like he can technically use his island 3 times with those 3 ships.
Well, if he can't fish if James fishes. Like,
That's
I can't
true.
fish because he put it too far away.
Oh, well, screw you, James.
oh yeah, that's right. We have no fishing pots.
Yep. If he was, I couldn't have fished down here either, so it doesn't matter.
Maybe you should have got some more movement, James. You ever think about that?
I'm just getting points.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh my gosh. What are these dice, bro?
6 fish.
The
6
arrogance
fish.
of fish.
I need to go check.
He's not even done. He's not
Yeah.
even done.
7
fish.
It's not even.
Called it.
I need to check the BT Plus subscription page to see if
He
Dan ended up
logged in. He subscribed during this play.
during this play. Yep, I believe it.
That's what happened when my power went out. I was logging on to PayPal.
The money transfer was just too much. Oh God, I'm gonna sacrifice.
Just to be clear, we are joking. As of
Oh, yeah.
September 25th, when we're recording this, that's not a thing.
Not a thing.
It's a free website to play on, and there is no premium dice rolling subscription.
Well, it's just you and Dan, James.
Hey, I'll celebrate.
Why not? Oh my gosh, so many points.
Do I want to celebrate this, or do I want to take the movement?
Celebrate. I mean, he
guess
can celebrate for
Dan
1
will.
point if he wants to. So
Yeah, but he would probably rather get the free movement either way. So I'll take this.
Mm. Yeah. I'll do the movement then.
this guy still has no fish, no shells. He delivered just to himself. This is a
Yeah,
wild
could,
strat. I kind of love it.
I kind of do too. All right. Who's landing in last? Derek. Guessing he sends it back down here again.
Yeah. It's kind of the only option.
We're just gonna get this guy back over here where he was. Up here. Boy, it's certainly tempting to kill one of Dan's boats, but I'm in the point making game, not the point spending game. Sure. That was a quick round.
Quick round. 2 people passed.
Mhm.
What a round.
I do
it
love
was.
the little shared infrastructure bit of like, once you see who is going to be in last and where they want to build, you want to build meaty cuts there too, and then they're like, get away from my net. I just want to, let me get my influence. Get away from me.
Yeah. So nobody has any shells at all.
It's great. We're doing great.
Not a single shell. And
No.
only Dan has fish.
I have fish.
Great.
Screw you. I have fish.
Screw you.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got
yeah,
two.
yeah. That's right.
He's got
Yeah.
two stinky fish.
Stinky
They're
fish.
not quite stinky. They're like kind of mid. They're actually exactly mid.
Fish.
Mid fish.
Two no shell money to be found on the entire island nation.
Just give Dan more influence. Screw us.
Let's fish.
Somebody just think his boats. Come on, guys. Chris, you're in the
Job.
boat sinking business. Get to work.
Yeah, I might consider it.
Fish. Yeah,
Come
there it
on,
is.
come
Something
on.
about.
This
That's what I'm
guy,
talking
not me.
about.
Come on. I got no shell money.
That's what I'm talking about. And nowhere to fish except for where that's at.
Chris, you should really fish so Dan can't fish. I mean, I guess Dan doesn't want to fish. He's got 7 freaking fish.
Yeah,
Never
what's
mind.
the point of it? I guess he could
Yeah, I
just to screw
He
us.
could, I
Just
suppose, but
Mhm.
just to do
Well,
the
also
biggest delivery of all
Garrett
time.
Garrett could be fishing. He has the influence. I have the influence.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
do
but-
movement.
I go after Dan though, so if you don't fish,
Yeah,
Dan
yeah,
can
yeah.
fish.
Well, I'm just thinking. Yeah, but it's like, are both of you? One of you guys are probably gonna fish. Eric will fish.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't fish,
I
I'm gonna
mean,
fish.
Dan
Or
wants to
I'm gonna
deliver,
fish.
but I guess no one can deliver before Dan, so that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can deliver my
Yep,
one
yep, yep.
fish that I caught.
hmm
but he goes before you, anyways.
Yeah. I'm gonna fish.
For it.
Ooh,
Hey, there's your blank.
Better.
there we go.
Better.
3 out of 4 is all right.
Attack.
Ooh, Dan goes influence.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna take a deliver.
We couldn't. Yeah.
Oh, this guy
My
can't-
fish ain't going anywhere.
So I will deliver. I will give. I mean, is it weird? I want to give James points. I want to get to
That's
you, but I
pretty
can't. Because I'm like, I don't want to give Dan points because he's winning and screw.
Because I
and
only
s-
exist in one place on the
and,
map.
and screw Chris, but
You might just have to deliver to Chris.
I guess I got to deliver to Chris.
Give me some more points to spend to sink ships.
As long as there's somebody else's, except for the person who's in last place, Chris.
Yes, but if I sink,
You ever
one
heard
your
of
ships,
you
I'll
ever
be in
heard
last
of the
place.
table balancing the game?
No.
No,
Nah.
never heard of it.
Increase.
No,
Never heard of that one.
Never heard of it.
If I could get a point there, I could move.
Yeah, sink those ships. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh,
that's-
so much sinking.
Oh my gosh, what just
Down
happened?
to 0
He
points.
sank 2 ships.
He dropped 5 points and sunk 2 ships of dance.
That's crazy. Okay.
At least we have you here, Chris. At least you're here to
Oh, yeah.
help maintain status quo.
Well, I need to get some influence somehow.
All right, I'm taking a build action.
It's true.
I should decide. I'm definitely building a ship. I also decide. Okay, I have 10. 10 build points. I don't know. There's not a way I can build twice. Which kind of sucks. Because I would need to build up here in this top area. Because that would only be 4. So maybe I just do a build twice, crazily? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I could build here and then build there. It's not the worst idea. It's not the best idea, but it's not the worst. No, I can't. That costs 4. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to sail up here and build a second meeting hut there.
Ooh.
4 influence. This is a weird play of Kaivai.
Perfect. The only one on the internet.
It's kind of cool though. You get to see a lot of stuff going on.
It's that, or you go to BGG and read a session report from 21 years ago.
That's where you know it's good stuff, baby. That's when you know it's good stuff.
I'm gonna actually take a expensive 1 influence move here just to position for next round because I think I know where the fishing hut's going.
Just gotta position yourself right.
Or the fishing god is going.
Yeah. I love how whoever said that on the Discord of the day, like whenever you see those words session report, you're like, oh, it's gonna be good.
Report. Yeah. Before BGG even had like categorizations for their forums. It's just that's all there was.
Games from 30 years ago that have like one guy posting like 5 session reports. Oh, it's so funny. Selling fish, the fish, the fish.
You get some money for next turn.
Get that shell money.
That shell money.
No money.
Delivering to Dan of all people.
Right?
Right?
Well, I gotta make up for what I did.
Is that how that works? I don't think that's how that works.
How about deliver to me down here?
Thought about it.
How about deliver to last place? Really want that?
You're all up there.
I did deliver to last place to me.
I guess whatever. Now you are. Okay, I'm gonna build again. I'm just coming over here. And building another boat.
Hey, I'll celebrate for a point.
Do it. You do it. I thought about it. Didn't really want to do it. Chris passes. I passes.
I also pass. Right. It's been fun to feel the difference playing from in first place in points because I've really tried a concerted effort in our async games to play from
last
the
place.
opposite position.
Yeah.
Just to control the fisherman god. But getting first action every time is pretty sweet too.
Yeah, because you don't pay influence, and you usually don't pay influence twice because you go to the position like you just get another free action somewhere. Shoot, I hate this position. The second place, like, where's anybody go position?
Yeah.
Should have torpedoed some boats.
I'll torpedo your boat here in a second.
Possibly. Before I get a chance.
We are round 8, so this is like from a gameplay perspective. When you do says me, the blue guy down here, but you start looking at who actually does control islands. Like the far left island's the most valuable one, right? Has 3 cult hexes. Derek's up 2-1 on it right now.
Yep.
So people may start gradually trying to get their boats in there for that extra area control, and influence could come in at the end as well.
Yep. Okay.
We don't have like a money island right now. Like in some of our other plays, we ended up with one growing to 4. You know, Derek's could still.
Yeah. I hope it does. Let's do more influence.
This middle one where Chris is about to put the Fisherman's God is going to be worth 3.
Okay.
So
I need at least 1, 2, 3, 4.
it doesn't sound like a lot of
5.
points, but
I need at least 5 movement. I have a +2, so I'm gonna bid 7.
Jeez. Let's see. Let's go in there.
I just look at all this green and this red and this yellow, and I'm like, oh, there's some blue down there too, I guess.
It kind of blends into the sea hexes.
it does.
It's like we never played a 3-player game of Kaivai, but maybe we are. Maybe we are now.
Maybe you did today. And again, I mean, anyone still watching this, huts are worth 2 points apiece at the end. So
dumb old me is trying to find his third boat.
James's lead will go away pretty quick when we go to in-game.
correct. Yes.
I'm like, where is my other boat? I
I'm
misplaced it.
going with a bit of 8.
Boo.
I do wish, for the sake of this play and just it's a personal desire, I wish that board stayed up because
Yes.
I just think it's helpful for the table. Like,
Yeah, and just seeing it over to the left, it's like,
yeah,
Oh, the turn tracker.
turn
board?
tracker
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Derek showed at the
Right.
beginning,
Like in
you
the-
know, it's always in front of you.
The physical
And in
game,
fact,
you put
you
your
know,
own
it
little
is not-
guy on there, so you always see it
Yeah.
there.
It's not shared, so you're actually looking around the table the whole time, going, "Okay, I was 8. Am I, across the table is 7." I actually think, like Dan, I know you talked about doing a PNP. Making a centralized one actually is a good thing. I think that would be a good thing for the game.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Maybe
fishing.
doing that.
It'd be nice to have just like
Come
it,
to my
it's
island.
still on your personal board, but also in a
Yeah.
a shared board.
You'd
Because
have to have it.
Just have
on
2
both, I think.
markers. Yeah. So you can look down at a glance and see your own, but then you can also see how people are lined up.
Hey, I caught some fish this time.
I'm also fishing. Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Hey, you caught
Here
some
we go.
fish.
Oh, here we go. Here we go,
Hey.
guys. Okay, I'll
Okay,
take it.
not
I'll take
bad.
it. I'll
You'll
take
take-
it.
yeah,
I'll take it.
You take 5 out of 6.
I will take 5 out of 6 every day. That's actually the exact odds. Oh wait, actually it's not because technically those have a 2 and 6.
All right. Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. Right.
Man, all that influence. He can do whatever he wants.
The man
Or he can
got
save it for the end to
influence for
you know.
days. Get his bid. That'd be crazy.
hold down some points in the final.
He's delivering, guys. He's delivering.
Oh wait, damn it! Let me undo that.
No,
This
don't
interface
undo
broke.
that.
No, it's like I forgot to also deliver to myself. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. That's fine. Still good.
I went 3 and 2, not 3 and 0.
Celebration.
Celebrate, celebrate. Dance to the music.
I always think of Cool in the Gang.
I agree.
It's another big thing to talk about. Like we talk about celebrating islands. Fish on huts at the end of the game don't do anything. They must be celebrated in order to score points. So, it gets around 10. If somebody can't celebrate, you can just deliver all you want to them or however you want to do it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's where I'm in a pickle right here. Like, I mean, let me be honest. I don't think I'm competing despite the score, which will be fun for people to see in the play. But I really need to deliver these fish to my island and celebrate them before the game ends. This is round 8. So if I don't do at least a delivery now, I run a risk of
just doing nothing with them.
But honestly, either way, I'm either going to deliver now and celebrate next time and do nothing in round 10, or I'm going to do nothing now, deliver next time from first, and then celebrate from first, which isn't so bad. Derek's got fish. We'll at least make it more expensive for him to deliver.
Got some deliveries and all of James. I'm gonna fish again.
Load them up.
Okay,
One
that's
out
fine.
of two.
It's fine. Oh,
One
the
out of
first
two.
dice.
The first dice, not the second one.
Hey,
And a 2
of
out of 2.
course. I'll take
Still pretty decent.
Still take it. Compared to some of my early rolls, I'll take it.
9 fish on hand.
I got fish. Gosh, he's got 4 influence. That's crazy. Hey, no, I'm not last anymore, you son of a gun.
Yeah, but I don't know where Chris is going to move this damn thing if he's in last.
It's just to his island down there where he gets the points for it at least, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. That is a nice spot for him just to grow the island. And if he gets the chance to, he stops by and fishes.
Maybe.
Look, more influence for Chris.
Mm-hmm.
It's the triple meeting spot.
Ooh, nice. I'll increase my movement. Why not?
I can take a free move action. I'm sinking boats, baby.
Ooh. Dan's like, I got 1 freaking boat left over here.
Okay, I want to do that. And then
I do appreciate that the primary motivation for sinking my boats is like
Losing points.
jockeying for turn order.
It's actually awesome. It's an awesome mechanic that you have to do something unglorious to get yourself into the hole to jockey that turn order. But it also actually does impact the game and hurt somebody.
I gotta think. I have 9 fish right now. Do I think I'm getting any
Many
more
fish
fish
does one man need?
in the game is the question. If I do get fish, am I building with any of them? That's the other question. Because Dan, he has a bunch of stuff he can still build. You can just build. Well, I guess he gets to build 1 ship at a time now. But
Yeah, I have 1 build action because I got 1 boat left.
Do I care about moving? Move this. Oh wait, I didn't do that. That was not the right one. This guy here, and then this guy right here.
Also, if you keep yourself in last, Derek, you can control the choose an island for teaching purposes for the end game scoring,
Hey,
which would actually be really convenient. You're like, no promises. I might have to turn these fish into points.
you're gonna try to turn these fish into points.
Hey, look,
Boom.
Dan's back. He got his boat back.
Got another boat.
Pulled it out of the bottom of the ocean.
Cost
Sink him,
of
Chris.
11. That's crazy.
I'm hovering over it. No, but
Oh, God.
I am sinking a boat, but it's not Dan's.
It's my, oh my gosh, he sank so many of my boats. It's insane.
I just think I've sunk 2 of each of yours so far.
I pass.
Really
I'm
not
done.
that many.
Derek passes. He's done.
Oh yeah, I'm done. God, Chris, you're the worst.
I gotta read this guy.
I mainly just wanted to move one of my boats slightly farther to the west.
I just need influence.
Let's see.
Can't let you get it.
Well, screw you. He's only down to 1 influence, but he'll get. I don't know. All right. Dan has 6 shells. I have 9 fish. It's the only resources in the game currently.
Really interested to see where Chris is going to put this.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
he can't
Just
give
gonna
himself
grow
an
his
influence.
island. We keep
but
saying
if
that.
he-
He's just grow his
He
island.
could give
That's
himself
not-
an influence if he really wanted, but it gives me and Dan one.
Yeah, which I just don't
Yeah.
think he wants to do.
Yeah, and plus it's
No,
that
I
is
don't.
technically his
Especially-
island though. Like he has a better
but it's-
influence,
There's a good chance it's a toss-up island, you know?
especially with both of Dan's boats over there right now.
Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
2 rounds left. We're at 220. That's not bad.
Yeah. With a teach.
With the teach. That teach was like rolling into like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. It is your bid, Derek, if you want to do
Oh,
that.
shoot.
You
I didn't
could
see
get
your bid.
this. You could get this clock moving on this 2 hour and 20 minute.
Yeah. I bid 10.
Wow.
Nobody shall go before me.
So when you bid 10, you only get your bonus movement.
Yep.
Huh?
But I have 2 bonus movements, so
You'll put it right there.
I fish because I can.
Oh my
nobody else can
gosh.
deliver. So
You put it right there where I could fish? I didn't see that coming. I thought you were going to put it down in the south.
yeah, why would you not put it? I guess they can.
I can't
influence-
fish anyway.
So that I could,
If-
so that I
you
could
can't
actually
fish
reach
anyway.
it.
So what's the
That's why.
matter?
Oh, yeah. It helps Chris reach it. That's true.
Yeah, that's the only way I could reach it is if I put it up there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
But I'm fishing because
And if there are fishes, then James can't fish.
I want to deliver,
I-
and nobody
I
else
was
can
pretty
deliver.
sure I'm taking this round off anyway.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get the influence now, so I have options in round 10.
Mhm.
One more fish. And oh my god, I can't stop rolling.
Oh, yeah. Life's so hard with your 11 fish over there.
Shut up. James, it's not my fault. You built no places to fish and nothing else, and only deliver to yourself.
Um,
I just want to look back
Yeah,
at my history.
I'll
and
sacrifice. get my
I've
2.
lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Dan led with a
6,
move.
7,
Dan,
8.
a move.
Yep.
I've lost 8 fish this game, just so we know.
Oh,
Okay, so what's happened so far? We've hit a move and another fish.
Ooh, Chris
Mhm.
with a 2 out of 3. Look
2
at
to
that.
3. Not bad, not bad.
I,
Did you
I have some
fish?
fish at least.
That was it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only hit the one. The other
Oh,
one's still too far.
So now people can do what's called delivering. So I must deliver. I'm going to toss it over here.
Fill up those islands.
Fill them up. Got 6 up there.
Who's gonna go get those 2 points? I have a feeling his name is Dan.
You ever heard of this guy called Dan? And I have so many fish left.
This is when I wish I hadn't passed, so I could get those free 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even deliver all these fish. I got those extra fish. I can't even do anything with them. But it was fun. I had to deliver 1 to Dan up here because why not? In case he doesn't want to do the delivery. Look at all those fish. Fish.
One leftover fish.
So
Could you have gone in the middle of those islands and dropped 1 to your meeting hut, or no?
I couldn't have the movement.
Oh, okay.
I only had 2.
Oh, yeah, because you went full 10.
No, full 10. I only had 2 movement. Right. I wish I could have. I was
gotta celebrate.
hoping I could.
6 and 6. Straight
and
split.
6.
That's not going to help Derek catch you.
Helps me catch you.
Well, I don't know if it's going to matter if Dan's out in front of us. We'll see. I can't wait to see.
I must pass. Yeah, I mean, Dan's got it locked right now. So many buildings. You can build some more right now.
He's, I think, too poor. Everything's too big.
Everything's too big. That's true.
Well, technically, the top left island, I just don't think he can get to it.
1, 2.
Not with a legal build. Yeah.
Yeah, not legal build. He needs 1 more. He just celebrates again.
Another celebration. Oh, my island?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
He said, celebrate,
Thanks, Abby.
celebrate, dance to the music.
Dan's out of influence, so that's pass. Gotta be a pass, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
He could. He might be able to build.
There's no place
No,
he can
I
get
think-
2 and build.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm.
Last round.
Last round, round 10.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's got any influence but me. Interesting.
Oh, aren't you fancy? Well, of course,
Should
when
Mike just
Chris
do it?
builds 1, he can get 3 influence right now.
Yeah.
That is true.
I could do that. I could also try to fish. I don't know.
I mean, if you have to fish and deliver to do anything with it right now
Yeah.
Fish,
No, I
deliver,
know.
and celebrate.
and celebrate.
Yeah. With no influence. Yeah. I'll just get my influence.
Okay. So there's really no reason to not just go 10.
Yeah, you go 10, you at least celebrate your own island with nobody else getting a piece.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only. Yeah.
So with the end game scoring, you have to have a boat next to a cult site or just next to the
No.
island.
Yeah.
Colhex. Has to
Boat
next to
next
Colhex.
to a cult site will add to your influence there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the big cluster island in the middle here is worth 3 points, and you currently have 4 influence on it. I have
Mhm.
2. Dan has 3
Yep.
right now.
Mhm.
Do I care? I'm not. No. I don't.
Which, wait, which,
The big one on the middle right.
Yeah.
okay.
The 3 and 3.
Because your boat is not touching a cult
Uh-huh.
hex, it does not impact the area majority.
Ah, I gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's 3 to 4 to 2 right now.
3 to 4. Okay. That makes sense.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay. There's no point in delivering. There's no real point in fishing. I could just fish for the lulz. Does anyone really care about fishing? I guess
I don't think so.
Chris could technically do like the whole thing if he fished,
I-
then
Yeah, I guess
delivered.
he's.
Like if he had like a free fish, and then he delivered.
I have 3 influence, so if
Yeah,
I get spend 1 influence on each of them,
yeah.
or if I get any of them free.
Uh,
But then that means I can't bid. So
I'm also like, do I sacrifice and hope somebody else celebrates my island? Maybe they do. I don't know. They probably don't, but they could for the point. Because do I need those 2 influence, 2 discs? Let's do it. Whatever. I'll get 4 points.
Celebrate it.
I ain't winning anyways. Yeah, he'll fish. Fishy, fishy.
I think I'm just gonna sacrifice.
Oh, he's gonna just have all that influence to bid. James says, I'm taking
It
people's
doesn't
islands.
really matter, but at least I can try to get one, maybe.
James is like, I'm taking that 4-point island. Screw you guys.
great. Darn, I don't have quite enough points to slam into someone's. Yeah, I guess I'm behind the ball. I should have just sacrificed there. That was silly.
Yeah, because I'm like, if Dan
Yeah, because he's just
delivers,
ahead of me. Yeah,
then
and then
you
to
can't
celebrate, I'm
celebrate.
blocked off.
Yeah, you're blocked off.
Yeah.
He's got you beat.
I should have just sacrificed. Oh well. Derek, you're up.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was. What do I want to do?
This guy. His first time.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's like, does it like, it pops up the other person's name up top? So I think it's their
I
turn.
know it is actually. It is,
Mhm.
especially live. Like async, you get a tag too, or whatever, like a push from wherever. But
Mhm.
here, it's just you're sitting here and you're like, "Cool, is he still fishing or what?" Like, oh, that's my name. Cool.
Oh, oh.
Mhm.
You know what? Screw you guys. I'm delivering.
Okay.
Okay, he says.
Now, none of you can celebrate or deliver and celebrate.
He's not wrong. Chris could deliver and celebrate,
And celebrate. Yeah.
as long as Dan doesn't do either.
Oh, that's true. Dan, just celebrate my island for 1 point. Don't give it to Chris.
Wait a minute. Doing. Celebrate for no points for
No
Dan.
points, yeah. Exactly. I think that's the play.
I don't want to be rude, but I don't think Chris celebrating and delivering is a big factor.
It's not. It's not. You're not wrong.
Hey, if I celebrate and deliver, then I'll have enough points that I could move and kill someone else's ship. So it will be a
Exactly.
factor.
It'll be totally worth it.
Just kill somebody else's ship.
Dan, it's your turn now. Just
I
making
know.
sure.
I'm-
Okay, just
I know.
making sure we're all reading the banners
know.
together.
Hey, he did it. He did
What?
the thing.
Wow. Just to prevent Chris from blowing
Yeah.
up one of your ships potentially? That's kind of great. I'm not going to lie.
I love it.
All right.
It's like next
All
level.
right. Well, yeah. Shoot. Now, do I celebrate for 2 points or do I keep the two? I think I keep the 2 influence.
All right. I take a move action and go kill his boats. No, I'm just kidding. I can't even reach him.
You're like, vengeance, finally.
I should have done move just to block it.
Oh goddamn!
Just to,
I was gonna take over and get my vengeance.
No.
yeah, I should have.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
I should have done a move to block that. That was actually silly. I shouldn't have passed.
Oh, before passing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I
blocked
should have
it.
done move. Yeah.
I blocked it for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's got to be it right there.
I'm going to increase the movement real quick first.
You want to build? Are you sure?
All right, so here's our
Okay,
in-game
so,
scoring here. We
yeah.
have Chris with 8 huts, so he gets 16 points. James has his 3 huts in the corner, so he gets 6 points. Myself with 9 huts, I get 18, and then as I said, Dan with 10 gets 20 points.
And you see
So-
the effect on the scoreboard.
Yep, final scoring before we do the islands is 19, 28, 32, and 38. And so now, since
That's
Chris is in last place, he will choose an
Mhm.
island one by one until either we're done scoring islands or he gets ahead of James. If he gets ahead of James, then James will choose. All right, and the only person that can bid on islands are James and Chris because they're the only person with influence. So he picked this island where James is at. That's where the 2 points. And nobody bid anything. James has 3 influence, so he gets 2 glory for those 2 cult hexes. So now it goes back to Chris for picking. He picks this one.
Again,
James could technically
nobody-
bid all of it to make me not score 2 points. But he doesn't.
Counting on that.
So I get 2 points. This one is very much
That's for Dan.
Dan's, but it's just 1
Yeah,
point
yours.
because 1 cult hex. Boom. Dan gets 1 point. So over here, it's 2-1. Now, you could bid 3 influence to take it, but I don't think anybody wants to do that for 1 point. So I get 1 point.
Yeah. All these one-pointers aren't very tempting.
This one over here
Oh, there's 2 points up there.
is 2 points, and right now it's Chris with the lead with 2.
Mm-hmm.
James could bid 3 and maybe hope to take it, but I don't think he wants to do that.
2 points.
Maybe he does.
It would be nice here.
Interesting. This is going to be
Well-
fun. We're going to have a little bit of a showdown here on
So-
with these 2 big islands.
So what I'm noticing here is, while you're deciding what to bid, it doesn't show you which islands are not yet scored.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So right now with the 3 islands scored, the big island,
Now-
the Chris's island
now
down
you-
here.
But then once I
Yeah, would you click
when
on
I
it? Does
click
not.
on it,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So
Mhm.
this is
Then
a
it goes
3-point
by-
island. I have 3 influence. Dan has 1, but James could take this with his 4 influence if he wanted to.
I think you should.
Yeah. No. I'm the 2 last place
know.
losers here doing our thing.
I know. Yeah. It's
I came closer than I thought I would, honestly.
Yeah. So this one's worth 3. Chris has 4 and I have 1.
Yes.
But if he spends any on this, I can take the other one from him.
Correct. So he's probably not spending on this one. You'd assume.
I did.
I did too.
So so the history was you both spent 5, so you both got all your influence back. And nobody scored any points for that.
Oh, we tied and we got it all back.
Got it all back.
Okay, now we know. Now we know what the score, how it's implemented here.
Yes, so it was straight up tie. Nobody wins. No points were
So
awarded.
the island just gets thrown out.
Yeah, which is funny because in the second edition rules that I have, it just says everyone who bids anything loses all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But we're not playing second edition, so.
The first edition. And then that
There
one
we go.
also, that was
I bid all
Chris
mine.
won that
bidding
one.
all of
Yeah.
us 7-6.
Yeah.
So he got it. So our final
Yeah, I should
scores
put
are
in one of those
Dan
cheat
winning
codes.
with 39, myself with 38, James with the 30 points off the 3 huts, which is pretty impressive. And then Chris, Mr. Boat Sinker, 25 points.
Mr. Boat Sinker. How many points did Chris lose sinking boats? That's what I really need to know.
It's at least 10, I think. At least 10, right?
Yeah, around that, I think. Yeah.
Because he sank 2 of Dan's boats in one turn. That's 5. He sank my boat twice whenever it was. So it was 11 points.
There you go.
I think it was 3 twice.
I know
I think
I
11
had 3
points.
boats sunk total.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, Derek sunk one.
I sunk 1. It's almost mine.
And that was the difference in the score. If you didn't sink the boat, you would have won, right?
No, I would not have won because Dan would have ran away with it because he would have built a lot more.
Hopefully that was useful to people who have heard of Kaivai, have never seen it. Now you have been able to watch it get played. You've got to teach to now know what's going on. Again, we were playing first edition rules, which is 10 rounds instead of 8, with a couple other little wrinkles in there. You can play however you want, but first edition is cooler. Roll some dice, get mad, it's great. But if you enjoyed this, check us out at dadsonaMap.com, where you can get a link to our Discord. You can talk about this game. You can play games of this, boot up a game with people there. Like Derek said, right now, Boardtogether.games has no public games, so you're going to need usernames of people to get games started, and you can find plenty of those over at the Dome Discord if you want to. You can also check us out on our YouTube channel, where we have plays from the past of Tricky. There are Choo Choo Crew plays out there on YouTube too of Cube Rails and 18xx, and all kinds of Dome nonsense on our channel too. But Derek, thank you for the teach. For myself, James, for Derek, for Dan, and Chris, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.
Dome Fishy coming soon.